in the county championship during the week, so he's been left out for this one. Jonathan Bull is making a debut for Durham, so he played in the county championship match midweek against Worcestershire and did quite well with the bat, got half century on debut, so he's been included in the T20 side for the first time tonight. Graham Clark, of course, will be at the top of the order. He has been opening the batting with Michael Jones, and Michael Jones is on that team sheet as well. Then the rest of it looks like this. It's all over the place, the team sheet that I've got in front of me, so it'll be easy to read it off the scoreboard computer. So it's Graham Clark, Michael Jones, Ollie Robinson, the wicketkeeper batsman, who's been back to Kent for a county championship game in the last few days. AJ Turner back, Ashton Turner to captain Durham, Jonathan Bushnell making his debut, Paul Coghlan, Ned Eckersley, Liam Travascus, Ben Rain, Scott Borthwick and Nathan Souter, who joined Durham on an emergency loan from Middlesex last week. Played in the game against Lancashire last Friday night, in which Durham chased down 131 and took 3 wickets, so he did very well in that one. Yorkshire are captained this evening by Harry Brook, and the keeper will be Tom Kohler-Cadmore, who's returned to the side. So he is taking over batting duties and wicket-keeping duties, so Jonathan Tattersall misses out. It's Adam Lyth at the top of the order with Finn Allen. Then you've got Tom Kohler-Cadmore, Harry Brook. Shadab Khan is back from Pakistan at the end of the 2017 season. This is whipped away by Salt. That's really strong whisk.
What a shot that was.
All through the wrists there.
Bryden Cast running in, and he's creamed straight through cover point. First ball by Salt for 4. Maybe a little bit full and a little bit of width there.
Him this evening, left arm round the wicket. That's lofted in the air and it's away. 4-4 straight back over the bowler and down to the boundary, just down 2 hour left. His best figures are against Lancashire.
6.
Absolutely.
4 for 16 at Lancashire in 2018. We were there that night, weren't we?
That's a great shot.
It's a good shot.
This is away through for 4 more. Left arm around again, and this is up in the air, and that is out. And that is the end of Salt. Travascus goes for 3-4s and then gets his bat. 65. Cars in, that's in the air, and he's hooked that with the wind on its tail, and it just beats the rope and goes for 6 to deep mid. Cars in and cut. That's a lovely shot. That's right off the middle. That's 4. That smacks into the advertising hoarding at the front of the pavilion.
So he runs towards us here, and this is a slow ball, and there you go. Slow ball deceived. Sometimes we get it right, and I don't know if he's chopped that on. But
Absolutely.
Souter again, and it's the same attempted shot again, and this time it's off the middle of the bat, and it's a sweep, very angry sweep around the corner, tight line for 4. As bowler comes in again, and he attempts a sweep, and he's LBW. He's played and missed it. Now the batsman's really annoyed here, Villas.
Ball behind the wicket.
Souter, the stumps are off. I think is that a stumping?
No, he's bowled him through the gate.
Missed it. That's a massive wicket
at the moment.
Wells on strike on 3. Skies this, and this should be out.
Should be caught.
Jones is coming in from long on, and he's taken it. That is the end of Wells. He's gone. Rain comes in and bowls, and that's off the toe. That's out, and he's messed that totally up there. Lamb looking to ramp one, and it's come off the toe and gone off towards backward point.
Souter drives.
He's out that
pitch,
time.
and that is out. He's run straight past one, and Souter picks up his 3rd. Another wrong, and he's pushed that right across. Yeah. The left-handed Hartley, who comes down
mid-wicket, he bowls, and Hurt has
bowled.
He's bowled him leg stump.
Just flicked the leg bail, I think. Yeah. Sunshine hits the pitch hard, and this is a slower ball that's slapped out into the vacant area out in front of square on the leg side. Comes over the wicket to Croft, and he takes a pace off, and he's hit that high.
Catch it.
It's into the breeze. AJ Ty settles under it and takes a comfortable catch.
Common thread as Hurt bowls, and Clark's bowled first ball. And he's totally and utterly missed one, and that's taken off. And he comes, and where's that gone? That's driven past mid-off for 4. It sounded a bit tinny, didn't it?
Yeah, it's off the toe more, I think, than the middle, but he comes in right arm over the wicket, and he bowls that one with a bit of pace, and it's punched down through mid-off. Michael Jones, all timing there, check drive. Has removed Benningham's leg stump, who again swings across the line. And it's a perfect Yorker from Gleeson.
Drives again. That one has gone through the covers. That's a nice shot. That's away for 4. Used his feet well there. Quickly to the pitch of the ball. Bang.
Gleeson comes in. And Robinson now loses his leg stump as he backs away and tries to hit him over cover. And Gleeson's on fire.
Now he's trying to... he's out.
No.
I've just tweeted, if Durham do this sensibly, it's a run a ball and they can win. And now Jones has tried to slog sweep Hartley and he's got himself out, LB. Worcestershire.
Ben Rain slog sweeps this one and is caught out on the leg side.
No need for it. Gone for 7. Parkinson again bowls. Coghlan drives down the field, uses his feet well. 4 runs.
Gorgeous
Straight shot, nice shot. Finkel end. Right arm over. Coghlan pulls it out towards deep mid-wicket. He's got to be careful, he's out. He's put it straight into the hands of Croft. The first time he slogs, he gets himself out.
Where the sun is still hammering into our commentary box. Gleeson bowls him.
Bowled him.
Eckersley backs away and Gleeson takes a huge wicket of Eckersley as it clips the leg stump again from Gleeson. Gleeson into bowl, and this one's knocked Carter's off stump this time, and Rick Gleeson is having the night of his life this time.
Hurt in. Travaskis with a big hit. That's going to go for 6. Into the middle of the pavilion.
What a shot from the skipper. That one's back of a length, and Travaskis pulls that out. Danny Lamb over the wicket trying to hide the ball. AJ Ty gets the bottom edge, and that'll be enough, I think. He will come back for the second, and Durham get home over, well, more than favourites Lancashire in this game. They never make it easy for us, Marty. The game was done, the game was lost, and now the game is over with Durham taking the points tonight.
Ashton Turner, is he likely to be back for the T20 this weekend?
Yeah, again, his rehab over the last couple of weeks has been excellent. It's been aggressive. He's really pushed the boundaries. He's starting to hit some balls, and we'll make a call on him tomorrow whether or not he's going to be available for this weekend's games.
You've got Yorkshire here on Friday and then Leicestershire Sunday afternoon, so back into the swing of T20 once again now after this county championship.
Yeah, absolutely, and we're coming off the back of a really cool win last Friday here against against Lancashire rather. So we know we're up for a big game this Friday night against Yorkshire. Hopefully we'll get a nice crowd in. I think the weather is set well and truly fair. So we know if we can get a result or a couple of really good results this weekend, then that throws us straight back into the mix again in this Vitality Blast. So we're really looking forward and excited to Friday and Sunday.
That was the Durham coach, James Franklin. I love that use of phraseology there. They're chucking him in the scanner this afternoon. I hope they did it gently and he bounced in and didn't injure himself. But they've left him out for this one. He hit the rope quite hard, and the outfield here at the moment is bone dry. It's rock hard because it's hardly been any rain for weeks. Alongside me then, Martin Emerson here from BBC Radio Newcastle. There's Jonathan Doidge from BBC Radio Leeds. We've got Paul Shaw with us this evening as well. The bad news today, Doidgey. I learnt this morning that our water butt is empty.
Your water butt is empty?
Our water butt runneth dry.
Okay, there are many things that I think about when I come to do a commentary with you, but talking about your
water
butt
butts,
in the first, first 30 seconds is not.
Didn't see that coming, did you? No. What I can say is there's a big crowd of, there's a long line of traffic trying to come into the ground here. They think they might get as many as 8,000 in here tonight, and looking at the pavilion and the seats around the pavilion, it looks very busy already. One thing that might be causing one or two issues for people getting here on time is there has been a fuel protest, and the organisers have brought a convoy of lorries and vans and other vehicles down the A1 this afternoon, right the way through Northumberland, round Tyneside, the Western Bypass, past the Metro Centre, down past Chesley Street, and all of this at 30 miles an hour, although they'll have done very well to get round the Western Bypass at 30 miles an hour, because it's normally about a mile an hour if you're lucky round there. And they're going down to North Yorkshire. Meanwhile, another lot is coming up from North Yorkshire, from Scotch Corner, so could be a few delays for people getting to the ground.
And Don Best, they've got 3 tweakers. Adam Lythe also very often will throw in the first over of the day as well, so consider it 4 spinners. And so that's clearly what they've seen when they've looked at the pitch. I've got to say, Marty, I don't know whether it's just that we're low down on the commentary position here, but every time I come here, even when the boundary's roped off a bit, it still always feels like a big ground. And
well,
you're going to get value as a
It's one of the biggest
spinner.
surfaces, definitely. And Durham never bring the ropes in, that's the other thing. They're playing back up in the middle of the square today. We have alongside us, as part of our commentary team, inside leader 1. Now, I'm just looking at that and thinking Top Gun. That's exactly what I'm thinking there.
Well, he is our top gun, isn't he?
We've got
Shawsey.
Got Goose and Maverick and all the rest of it, and now we've got inside leader 1. So, who was Paul Shaw, who's had a lovely journey up from Manchester this afternoon.
I have, just that.
The M62 on a Friday. What a nightmare.
Busy, the M1 was busy. But I have to tell you this, Marty Dodgy. What a wonderful, delightful portion of fish and chips I had when I arrived. Mushy peas, cup of tea. No bread and butter, mind, but I tell you, it was fantastic.
Can't get vexed, can you? So I went to the Chippy and Headingley a couple of weeks ago and had something to eat there. But last year we spent the evening in there because it was chucking it down, wasn't it?
Yeah, we had a good time in there, didn't we?
Yeah, this year it was quite a crash bang wallop affair. Durham couldn't defend 207 against Yorkshire a couple of Fridays ago, but you weren't there, were you? Where were you?
No, that was the only game I've ever missed. I was working at the Derby meeting at Epsom.
All right.
So I'd done that day, the Friday.
Were you on the fairground?
Again. And I was working the day after for the Derby itself. So yeah, it's the only one I missed. And I've got to say, when Durham posted that score, I was off at an evening social, as one does, and I was keeping tabs on what was going on. But I had to say that when Durham had posted over 200, I didn't fancy Yorkshire in the first instance to knock them off.
Funnily enough, at the halfway stage, I didn't fancy Durham. We had a discussion, and a number of us were of the opinion that it might not be defendable. They just lost their way towards the end of the innings. That was the problem. They needed at least another decent partnership. So Ben Rain is going to start things off tonight. And Durham in their yellow tops and dark blue bottoms. They've got Ashton Turner, their Australian, back for the 3rd game. Went down heavily at Northampton a few weeks ago. When he sat up, his shoulder was pointing in the wrong direction. And to open the batting here, who have we got out there at the minute? It'll be Adam Lythe. As Rain comes in from the Finkel end, and they're playing a miss. That one's gone through to the keeper. Starting with a slip in place as well here.
Yep, it's Finn Allen who's out there with Adam Lythe.
Well, those two smashed it around, didn't they, at Headingley a couple of weeks ago?
Yeah.
There was 2 sixes went out of the ground over the Western Terrace and into Kirkstall Lane. One of them probably ended up in the fat fryer at Kirkstall Fisheries, I think. Went that far.
Have you noticed he knows where all his chippies are around Headingley?
Yeah.
There's a book in there, Marty.
Yeah. This one's a lovely shot. Cracked out the covers for 4. Off towards the castle stand on our right hand side. I've been to 2 chip shops in that area, one with you and one with Dave Townsend. That's the extent of my chip shop knowledge of the Headingley area.
You've just been to each of them 10 times.
Yeah, this week.
Yeah, cracking shot by Adam Lythe.
Yeah, he just rocked back onto the back foot there, and Rain's just back of the length, slightly wide, and just Lythe was able to get his hands through the ball with that little bit of width, but beautifully timed away for 4 runs.
First boundary of the evening then, and I thought there was an edge behind there. A bit of a false shot from Lythe. He came down the track towards Rain and then played and missed. I thought initially the ball might have clipped the shoulder of the bat on the way through, but there was nothing from the out for anybody in the field. I was expecting them all to jump up in the air in celebration. But
what sort of a season has Ben Rain had so far?
Been doing well. He took some wickets the other day on a really difficult track for the bowlers. He did well. Took 4, I think, the other day. This is pulled off towards deep mid wicket, and didn't quite sound right off the bat, but it will be 2 runs to Lythe. I don't think he'll go 3 for the throw. It's Travaskis who's gone out there to field it in front of the pavilion. What's Rain been doing in the T20? He's one of the bowlers, and Andrew Tye, the other one, another emergency signing, who have really sort of bowled with control, taking the pace off the ball and bogged players down. He's got 10 wickets Rain so far in the T20 this year. This is in the air, but it's safe. It's out through mid-wicket. Acres of room out there. And this is Nathan Souter fielding this. Got an interesting running style. I was saying last week, he reminds me of a kid at school called Peter Clark, who I could never beat in the 100 metres. Low centre of gravity. Used to glide along just above the surface. I wonder where Peter Clark is these days.
It's probably... Hi, Peter. Are you enjoying yourself listening in tonight? Yeah. There you go. You got it from the horse's mouth. He still can't get over it.
I cannot.
I was doing an update on Radio York the other day when I was down at Southampton, and she was playing True in the build-up to my update, which was one of my favourite songs as a
one
teenager.
Of your favourites, right?
Yeah. And I said, "Oh, Joe Anita, it was great that you played that. Thanks for reminding me about a heartbroken 1983."
Rain in, chopped down into the ground by Allen, who sets off for a single and is sent back.
And she said, "Jonathan, you're live on BBC Radio York. Come on, now's the time to tell us all about it."
Yeah.
Said, I think not.
Well, it's funny you mentioned that song, because during lockdown, and it was possibly the Easter weekend during lockdown, I was DJing and had the wheels of steel and the DJ satchel out and all that malarkey.
You're DJing, wait? Do you do mixes? Are you MC?
I used to have my own mobile disco years ago. Yeah. DJ in nightclubs and stuff.
The Birdie song?
Yeah.
Bit of that?
But a lad who I know from Whitburn, Pete Scott, messaged and said, "Can you give a mention to my girlfriend Julie, because I haven't been able to see her for weeks because of lockdown. She's at home in South Shields and I'm at home in Whitburn." So I said, all right. And then True was the next song, so I played it. And I said, that was for Peter, for Julie. And she messaged straight back. She said, "I hate that song." And he messaged straight back. He said she hates that song.
Here's Paul Coghlan coming in right arm over the wicket to the left-handed Lyth. First ball of over number 2. Lyth has the proverbial haymaker, trying to hit it straight back over the bowler's head and misses. Hey, listen, you were far too clear to be a DJ there. You'd have been saying, True for, wouldn't it? Because that's what happens at
for all you lovers out there.
Well, you never can tell what the DJ says at a wedding or a disco, apart from the last bit where they actually announce the name of the band or the song. Here's Coghlan, and Adam Lyth announcing himself in this over with a 4 over the top of Cover, who's up inside the circle. Plays that well, Adam Lyth, and on this occasion shows it. He just timed that, zinged away to the boundary.
Souter's out there.
Just slightly over pitch, wasn't it? And Lyth just leant into that one and hit it over the infield for a well-timed 4 runs. He looks in good nick this evening. Let's see how the next few overs go.
He's on 11. Coghlan in. Oh, he's hit that one quite a long way. Not sure it's got the legs to make it all the way to the boundary. It might have bounced just inside, I think. Yep, signal from one umpire to t'other that is a 4. But Adam Lyth this time pulling that one over a straight mid-wicket, cowshot corner if you like. And it is a corner on the ground today, isn't it, with the way that the rope is set?
Mm. Well, Coghlan and Bryden Cast were far too expensive in the game at Leeds a few weeks ago. They just banging it in short and fast, and they just got smacked around the park. Both went for more than 50 runs. Neither took a wicket.
Because here's Coghlan in again, and Lyth has driven that to extra cover. That is one of his better shots, and he's got a few of those when he's playing well. But that's one of my favourites, and that's a cracking Adam Lyth extra cover drive.
Class shot, that wasn't just typical of Lyth, wasn't it? He's waiting for the full ball or the short ball, as he often does, but when it's there he just climbs into it. But that one again, he's timing the ball really well tonight. He's timed that ball through the covers beautifully for 4 runs.
Coghlan none for 57 at Headingley, and Cast none for 50.
Don't understand that. We like Paul Coghlan. You know, I think I've said that to you before when I've been up here. He's a real competitor, as he's in again short this time, and Lyth ramps it over the infield, which is up inside the circle at third man, and they're going to settle for 2 because that was a good chase there by Graham Clark. Yeah.
So that's 14 off this over, and the first ball was a dot ball, and there's still a delivery left as well.
There certainly seems to be more bounce than any pitch I've seen, and just interesting listening to James Franklin on your interview there, talking about having the pitch relayed. Of course, Yorkshire have played here since then, but I can't remember it being quite as pacey and bouncy in that quarter-final last year, as he bowls short again, and Lyth just helps it on its way in front of square leg for a single. So 15 from that first Coghlan over, 22 without loss Yorkshire after 2.
Yeah, great start for Yorkshire. It's just the start that they would hope for, and obviously they've got 2 very strong ball strikers of the ball. Finn Allen strikes the ball hard, right-handed batter, quite tall and lithe, the slightly shorter stature, and also loves to be very, very attacking, certainly in power play, and for a number of years now he's performed really well at the top of the order, and he'll just look to continue this as the way the Yorkshire Vikings have started.
The Adam Lyth power play record, I referred to it before, during this T20 season, 1,299 runs from 809 deliveries in power play cricket. He is very positive in that respect. And Finn Allen, even better still, 1,020 runs off 552 deliveries in power plays. That's whatever it is, going on for 200 strike rate in the power play.
Here's Travaskis then, a bit of left arm spin, except it can't spin if it doesn't land, and that was a full toss, and that's gone for 4 over deep square leg. Not the best of balls to start with. Finn Allen's had some runs against Durham. He got last year, he got 66 for Lancashire at Old Trafford. Him and Adam Lyth hammering it around the park in the first game between the two this year. I think they put on 77 or something for the opening stand. Certainly Lyth made 77 in that game, and David Willey made 75, so he took on where they'd begun. They won with 2 and a bit overs to go. Travaskis, this is a better ball, at least he's pitched it this time. Lies down the track, plays now through mid-wicket for 1 run to Souter.
Travaskis' 3rd over record. We can go specifically on these stats, you know. 3rd over, he's taken 4 wickets bowling over number 3. He's bowling in 10 matches.
Is this Phil Dix's system?
And he's just disappeared off screen because I think I've clicked on something I shouldn't have done.
Well done.
I'll get it back in a moment.
Is it arriving tomorrow morning?
And he's gone for 7.5 and over when bowling over number 3.
Well, that's very niche. He's got a little white towel hanging out the back of his blue bottoms. He's going to come left arm around the wicket now from the Finkel end to Finn Allen, who cuts hard at that one, and that's gone for 4. Was short of a length outside of off stump. He had plenty of space to crack that one away.
He did. He just rocked back beautifully, didn't he? And timed and hit the ball quite powerfully there through the covers for 4 runs. Both these batters looking good form, don't they?
And shows he is just a yard, maybe 18 inches short there, and just allowed the batsman to go back foot. And as soon as he went, you just thought 4 before he'd even struck the ball.
Absolutely.
Travaskis bowls again. Allen chops at that one. It's past point. This could go for 4. Souter's chasing after it. Will he get there or not? It's Henry towards the ropes. He dives in. He's gone off the ropes, and he nearly headbutts a speaker on the side of the pitch. This is an expensive over as well, isn't it?
It's a great chase, though, that wasn't it?
So this is 12. This is 13. There's 2 balls left of this over. But you're reminded of, was it Leach last year who slid off the pitch and hit the west stand?
Yeah, it was. Yeah.
In the wet against Lancashire.
And Finn Allen strikes at 166 against left arm spin. He's improved that already.
Oh, he's played and missed at that one. That was a wrong one, I think, and the keeper has the bails off. Still a long stream of cars coming into the ground. Maybe they were held up on the motorway. Travaskis bowls. Pulled hard by Allen out through deep mid-wicket. Coghlan dives in to try and stop, and he's missed it. It's gone for 4 more. He gave it everything there, Coghlan, but he was basically running out of time and space, and that's 4 more. So another expensive over from a Durham point of view.
Yeah, but again, it's a great shot, isn't it, from Finn Allen there. He's just noticed that the length is that little bit short. He's got a slight forward press. He's rocked back and then worked that ball on top of the bounce through the vacant mid-wicket position and beat deep mid-wicket with both power and timing. As I said, both batsmen looking good nick.
Yeah, despairing dive from Coghlan. It was
17 from the over.
It was placement for me. His set there is Coghlan, and he just got it far enough away from him. This is the amazing ability of some of these players with this white ball when they've got the bat in their hand. I know I take everybody's point about the longer form of the game because I'm a big fan of it, but you've still got to appreciate there's some tremendous skills involved in this game as Lyth gets underneath his first delivery of Rain's second over, and that is 6 over fine leg from the moment it left the bat. He got right underneath it, chiselled it up in the air, and it was comfortably over the boundary.
Is that a top edge? Yeah.
Just top edge there, wasn't it? But his intent enabled the ball just to carry, didn't it? But as you rightly say, top edge there from Lyth for 6 runs.
Just looking down there, lads, there's a guy pushing his wife in a wheelchair. Just
oh goodness, yes.
Maybe a foot or two from where the ball bounced.
Both sides going into this one on the back of wins in their most recent T20 match, and Lyth gets into this one as well and has lofted that, well, inside the man at mid-off, but also well beyond him too. It's bounced a couple of times and scuttled away for 4 more.
It's the length in it. He's just climbed into that. He's not hit it as sweetly as he'd like, but he's managed to get enough on that and beat the mid-off fielder as it's run past him.
Rain took the pace off that, and I think Lyth spotted it early enough, didn't he?
Adam Lyth, 37 off 15. What a start, 246.7 that strike rate. Rain then, right arm over the wicket and in again. And this time he does manage to miss the Lyth willow, and he's limping his way for a leg bye down the far end of the field.
Yeah, I think he's going to need some ice on that a little bit later on, isn't he? But the great thing about that is they're still looking for ones. They're looking to rotate the strike as well. So from a coach's perspective, you see the boundaries, which you're obviously pleased with. Yep. But you also want that strike rotation as well.
50 up in just 3.3 overs, 21 balls, 12 minutes. Unbelievable start in that respect. I suppose after what we've seen with England today, this is probably just a little bit on the pedestrian side, but it's still pretty entertaining stuff. Well, particularly if you're a Yorkshire supporter. I'm not sure the home support will be quite as.
He's had a few big knocks against Durham Lyth, mind, over the years.
It's Allen on strike though, Rain into him, and he takes that really late again. He's worked it. How does he get it round there? He's worked it backward of square leg. Very, very late indeed, off leg stump, and he's got back for 2. He's probably kicking himself that he didn't get a 4 from that, knowing the standards he's setting himself.
Yeah, absolutely. But he's just managed to hold his shape long enough to get enough bat on that to get it through the infield for 2. But again, the thinking runs all the time, aren't they? So the push there for 2 and picked up the 2. It's good running.
Allen again against right arm fast medium, 192 his strike rate. Phenomenal when you consider the number of games he's played, and he's got this one away so fine. It's going to be 4 more. Rain just straying, probably no worse, I'm guessing, we're not straight on here, but probably about a middle and leg to leg stump delivery. He's got right across, and he's almost hooked that around along the carpet for 4.
I think he was wanting to go a little bit squarer, but he just got probably a little bit fine on that, and he managed to beat short fine leg for 4 runs, but it's a run fest at the moment.
There's been 4 dot balls in this innings, and 3 of them were in the first over.
Just having a good look at it. Here's Rain, and Allen back foot and gets this square, and just jogs through for a single. So another expensive over. Rain has now bowled 2 of them for 24, and Yorkshire 57 without loss after just the 4 overs.
Yeah, both these batters are playing beautifully, aren't they? It's interesting to see the both styles, both very different styles, isn't it? And Finn Allen's letting the ball come as close to him as possible and playing the ball very much within the bubble. And Adam Lyth is just getting towards the ball and trying to get into the ball as much as he possibly can and pounce on anything short and anything full. But both these players play really, really well together, and both styles complement the top order for the Vikings.
They're marauding tonight, the Vikings. Travaskis bowling round the wicket from the Finkel end to Finn Allen. Just looking at Adam Lyth, the scores he's had against Durham. He got 77 a few weeks ago. He's also had a 58 not out against the Brummagem Bears this year. Other notable knocks against Durham: 92 in 2018, 64 in the semi-final, which Durham won in 2016. An attempted reverse sweep here from Allen. It's clattered that onto his front pad and it's gone behind him. Looks a bit greasy out there, doesn't it? Ben Rain didn't connect with the ball properly there as he slid in. He's sort of gone past it and they get 2 runs. What else did you get? 87 against Durham in Leeds in 2016. So he enjoys playing against them. And of course, the record holder for the highest score in UK T20, which was a ridiculously massive 161 against Northants. There doesn't seem enough time in a 20 over game for one person to face that many balls and score that many runs. But Travaskis to Allen. Allen cuts hard out through the covers, almost stopped by Souter on the discs, but it's gone through him and chased up towards the boundary by Eckersley in front of the pavilion. They run 3.
Yeah, good run in, but a good attempted stop as well, I've got to say.
It's a bit skiddy out there, and I think we had a few drops of rain just as we were arriving at the ground earlier, and the surface just looks a little bit moist. And I'm just wondering if maybe there's quite a high humidity level this evening, and I'm just wondering if there's a bit of a dew coming down now as well, maybe. Low grey cloud, floodlights blazing away. Travaskis to Lythe, Lythe down the track, taps it out through mid-wicket, and Borthwick comes round, nearly collides with Souter. Souter gets there first from deep mid-wicket, Borthwick coming round from mid-on. One run there. 63 for none here on BBC Radio Newcastle, BBC Leeds and the Yorkshire stations.
Still 1 or 2 coming into the ground.
Yeah, the traffic jam's eased now, so most are here. Travaskis, none for 23 from 1.4 overs.
Over number 5's not been a great one for him either, Marty. 11.6 and over he goes out when he bowls this over.
This is in the air for a moment or two, but safe out through mid-wicket from Allen. He'll get 2. Fielded by Paul Coghlan to the keeper's end. The Yorkies are in dark blue bottoms and they've sort of mixture of sky blue and darker blue top. One blends into the other. As Travaskis bowls, Allen plays this up towards mid-off and it's cut off by Turner. 1 run. Flying. Chris Sharp says, great, you're doing a co-commentary with Doige tonight. Looking forward to a cracking evening watching the stream. That is the end of the over. 66 for none after 5.
Hey up, Chris. I think that's what we're saying. That's what you say down in south of Yorkshire, don't you?
Yes, very much so.
Hey up, you can get in touch on at Jonathan Doige, at Inside Leader 1. Marty, remind us.
At Marty Cricket. Or we've got the email weircricket@yahoo.co.uk.
Or BBC West Yorkshire Sport @gmail.com. Lily's been in touch. Fantastic start by Yorkshire. Adam Lythe hitting it all over. Come on, Yorkshire, you're cheering me up. As I've got COVID. Oh, sorry to hear that, Lily.
COVID reaches Malton.
And we have Coghlan, short and wide of off stump. Allen's got an inside edge on that, which has beaten the diving Ollie Robinson, and they're going to get back for 2 streakier runs than most tonight. Martin Bloomfield has messaged in saying, hi JD, recovered from squeaky bum syndrome after Southampton. Back to crash, bang, wallop of blast. Hats off to the ECB for allowing Harry Brook
what happened
to play
in the
again.
End at Southampton? Because the last report I heard you do when I was on Radio Tees was you thought Yorkshire might win.
Yeah, I thought well, it was one of those. We had it pegged as Hampshire favourites or Yorkshire favourites at various times of the day. Appeal for LBW here, by the way, was Finn Allen's trying to pull this delivery, and it's going to be a leg bye. So yeah, you'd have said at the start of the day probably more Hampshire. Yorkshire give him 197 to chase, which is never easy. 4th innings, but JMO was at pains to point out that it never gets any worse there, and he was probably right. Just a little bit of wear, as you'd expect. And then Yorkshire, they bowled, got a couple of early wickets, and then were a bit loose for a while, and that's all it takes in those sort of games, isn't it? Wide ball down the leg side here as Lythe's on strike again. And when you consider that there was talk from Kev James that, that gives you an appreciation really of some of the stuff that Yorkshire dished up, but obviously they got 8 wickets as well, so they weren't that far off the mark. I think inexperience has really cost them in the end. As Lythe has lofted this one wide of mid-on, he certainly didn't time that one anything like an Adam Lythe shot. He's looking up to the heavens in disgust with himself, and it was one of those that would have been an easy catch had it been directed at a man, but it was wide of mid-on. and they've got 2.
So what was the final outcome?
2-wicket win for Hampshire.
Right.
It was Liam Dawson proved the difference, really. He batted really well for Hampshire second time. Short ball here from Coghlan, pulled by Lythe, fine, and fielded by Short, fine leg. So no boundaries in this over. Shock horror, boys, no boundaries.
Yeah, what are we going to talk about?
2 leg by, wide 2-1 is the analysis for Coghlan so far. Last over of the power play, of course. 73 without loss would be one of Yorkshire's, very much one of Yorkshire's better power plays of recent times. Short ball, and that is pulled by Allen. For Yorkshire's BBC Radio Leeds listeners, join us from the Riverside with Yorkshire 74 without loss. Adam Lythe has cut loose early doors, 41 not out from 19 deliveries. Finn Allen has been an able supporter out there as well, 29 off 15. He's on strike at the moment. And you join us, in fact, in the first over that so far hasn't seen not just one but a flurry of boundaries. He's just pulled a short ball for a single, and the timing appears to have gone for the moment for the pair of them. Paul Coghlan bowling, but there's been a bit of damage already, and some excellent improvisation from both these batters. Reminder, Yorkshire won the toss and decided to bat first. It's an overcast night up here in Chester Street as Lythe has hit down the ground. He's nearly found a fielder on this occasion.
Turner.
The diving Turner coming in from mid-on, but one-handed he couldn't reel that in. Adam Lythe's looking at the bottom of his bat, and he's used it a couple of times in this over rather than the middle of it. But they did finish off with a boundary in the end, and of course they have taken the score off the board. 79 without loss, Yorkshire at the end of the power play, and that represents a very good set of 6 for the Vikings.
Yeah, excellent set of 6. The coaching staff will be really pleased about how they got about the business. Durham staff will be less happy with the lines and lengths that the Durham bowlers have hit. There's just that little bit of inconsistency, hasn't there, really, from a bowling perspective. But nevertheless, a good start for Yorkshire, and still a long way to go in this game. A couple of wickets now, and the game can change and went in a different direction. I think it's just about slowing down the momentum that the Vikings batters have got and see if they can transition that momentum as a bowling unit.
Scott Borthwick into the attack now. Didn't play last Friday because he's had a cyst on his hand, so he's had an injection and had it drained, I think, but he thinks he might need an operation at the end of the season. This is a return ball to him, which he collects 2 wickets down on the leg side and makes sure it doesn't go away for a run. He was there pretty quickly. Durham need to just try and take the pace out of this game here. It's easy for panic to set in and the plans to go out the window when they're getting a bit of tap. As Borthwick bowls, that's coming through our window. I think it's going to go on the roof.
That's a huge hit.
Where's that gone?
That's a huge hit.
It's not landed yet.
No, he's put his hands on his head as Finn Allen, because I think he's worried that he's
hit someone upstairs.
Might have hit somebody who's up there. Yeah, he's come down the wicket. That's extraordinary. That was a big hit. Big hit.
Looks of concern all around the ground here from the support spectators. The ball's come back down. I think Jonathan Bushnell looks rather shocked there. He was fielding it long on, and he had his hands clamped to his face there, and he is suggesting that maybe it struck somebody in the shoulder, but it's up above us to our right. We can't see round up there. Hopefully somebody from the medical staff, well, the Durham physios tried to run down, but I don't know how they're going to have to go round the back and go up the steps, I think.
And how far is that? I mean, this is one of the longest straight hits in the game. This is one of the longest straight hits in the game, and it's gone tier 3. It's, well, we're on the first floor, and it's gone a long way above our heads.
This is the next delivery, and Borthwick did him with a spin there. He came down the track, and then suddenly he was backpedaling to try and cut the ball out, and played it out into the covers. No run. Scott Borthwick's looking back up to the stand to see whoever was hit is okay. Comes in again and bowls. Allen cracks that hard off the back foot. That's away for 4. That's absolutely motoring. That's gone to the pavilion steps. And in fact, it's flicked the rope and leapt about 10 feet in the air and gone over the boundary boards and into the front row of the pavilion.
Such a powerful shot, isn't it? I mean, it's the speed of his hands through the point of contact. He's really generating real pace on the ball through his hands. Phenomenal shot.
David O'Connell has tweeted as Borthwick bowls again, and this is whipped away down towards Bushnell, long on, and Bushnell slips as he comes in to collect that, and then slips again as he's throwing it. He says, from a Kiwi point of view, is Finn Allen in the frame for a Black Caps call-up soon? And great coverage, by the way, chaps, he says. Where is he? He's played 6 one-dayers, hasn't he, I think?
Yeah, you think, how can he not be playing when you watch him back?
6 T20s he's played.
He should be, front and centre, shouldn't he, the way he plays?
Borthwick in. Lythe could be out here. He's clubbed. Oh, he's got away with it. He's got away with it. He's clubbed it up in the air to top edge. And it being chased by the keeper down towards the discs at third man. Ben Rain was coming in as well, and it's bounced between the two of them. A life for Lythe on 45, so he's now set to get his 5th half-century against Durham.
Yeah, he's lucky there, isn't he? I think he'll be buying a lottery ticket perhaps this evening. That ball's just dropped in between. When it's going your way, it's going your way. But the two Durham fielders, then it's just dropped bang in the centre of both of them. So unlucky, and very obviously fortunate for Lythe and the Vikings.
Outstanding shot, I thought. To split the gap between the fielder and the keeper. I mean, the placement sublime. 91 without loss after 7 overs. Well, they 200 and odd apiece at Headingley, and on a bigger playing surface here, but with very good bounce and pace about it by the looks of things out there. That's what it feels like, certainly the way that these shots have been played. It's on, is the 200 again, isn't it? Souter coming on, Nathan Souter is into the attack for over number 8.
Got 3 for 22 on his debut for Durham last weekend, and Middlesex have announced he's leaving them at the end of this season, so he's surplus to requirements. Hasn't played for their first team for a while.
He's just been hammered across the line by Lythe out to Cowshot corner, of course. Ended the power play a couple of overs ago. The fielders dispersed to some extent, and they got through for just the 1 this time. Lythe on to 47 from 23. Allen 41 from 21, and just the 1 off the first 2 deliveries of this Souter over.
Lydia's tweeted, she says Yorkshire will be declaring shortly at this rate. What was the opening stand at Headingley?
Souter in, and that's another big hit by Finn Allen over the scoreboard, and that's a considerable hit into the car park at the far end of the ground. 6 more to him, and he joins Lythe on 47 and has faced 1 ball fewer now. And
they put on 54 for the first wicket at Headingley, and then 70 for the second. So Allen went for 29, and then it was Lythe and Brooke, I think. No, Lythe and William would have been.
These bats shows it looked like he barely hit that, and it's
got some springy middles, haven't they, these bats?
Yeah.
Chris Lynn did this to Durham down at Northants a few weeks ago. He hit 5 or 6 sixes, 3 or 4 into back gardens, 1 of them into a curry house. One family tweeted a CCTV picture of the ball landing in their back garden and hitting their conservatory.
Souter again goes a little bit short of length, and Allen steps back and just middles that one up to long off for a single. Grumpy Neil says happily watching the Vikings on YouTube at home in Leyland. Hashtag Brook for England. Lily says fantastic power play. And Charles Kitching, good evening to you. Hello from a comfortable 31 degrees in Spain. Great start by our openers, and Durham looking a little ragged, unsurprisingly. Now then, Lythe has picked this one up towards square leg, and again, it's one of those nights tonight. You've got to take it when you can for Adam Lythe. He's dropped that one just short of the diving fielder. It's gone for 4, and as Marty mentioned, that is yet another 50 for Adam Lythe in this form of the game.
Well, that's his 5th against Durham. 24 balls, 8 4s and 1 6.
And it is, in his T20 career, his 23rd in total. Averaging over 25, almost 26 as he gets this next one away backward of square leg for another single. So 13 off that over. Yorkshire's 100 is up as well, of course. 104 without loss after just 8 overs.
The way Finn Allen's striking the ball this evening, I'm pretty pleased that my car is parked down the road in the car park. I don't mind the walk back to that this evening because Finn Allen's hitting the ball a long way this evening. Great bats obviously the players have got nowadays, but the way they strike the ball, there's no fear at all. No fear about getting out, just looking to hit the ball as hard as they can and as close to them as they possibly can so they can hit the ball under the eyes. But Finn Allen's something else.
So Yorkshire, what are they? 104 for none after 8 overs. Wow. Where's this gone? This is out down into the cover area from Lythe. Castle side of the ground.
Borthwick continuing. Alex W says, great opening partnership, great to see Allen back. We lose a couple of players but got the quality to come back in the side.
Has he been out with COVID?
Yes.
Yeah. Was it last year or the year before where 4 of the Yorkshire players couldn't come because they all had COVID?
Yeah, year before. That was down at Headingley.
Yeah.
Oh, it was up here as well, wasn't it? Yeah.
Oh, Borthwick's bowled. Allen is gone, and his off stump's gone, and he's played across the line, and that's the off stump's ended up in the keeper's gloves. It's skidded through. So Allen departs for 48, 101 for 5. Durham now in the game. Yorkshire will start panicking now.
Yeah, Finn Allen looks disappointed with that, and he will be as he's gone across that ball, looking to work it into the leg side with real power again. But it's really good bowling. The ball's just skidded on there, and quite surprised Finn Allen for pace. Actually, it's just done him for pace. It's good bowling from Borthwick, and that just might get Durham back into this game.
Might. Yeah, just a fractional opening stand of 105.
It was a Gazunder, wasn't it?
Yeah. it was Lancashire scored an opening stand against Durham here a few years ago of 170 when Keaton Jennings got 100. It was 105, that one.
So TKC, the new man in.
Now, the only thing Durham need to worry about is that with Tom Kohler-Cadmore, he has the highest score against Durham, 127. So that was for Worcestershire a few years ago. Down at New Road, where Durham never win. And never know how to defend a score down there. Borthwick coming in to bowl to him. Playing as a wicket-keeper tonight, Kohler-Cadmore as well, as this is him off the mark with a single through mid-wicket. What year did he get that score then? 2016 for Worcestershire.
Yorkshire slowing down appreciably. 3.3 overs for the first 50, and it took them 4.2 overs to get the second 50.
Lost their way, haven't they? Borthwick cuts this. Borthwick bowls. It's cut the Turner out in the covers.
Listen, all joking apart, they've had some matches this year when it's gone dead for a few overs.
Yeah.
Both.
Well, but they've given themselves such a pedestal already. I mean, this is pulled out to deep mid-wicket by Lythe for 1 to Souter.
TKC's now got the office, hasn't he, to do what he does really well, which is to build. He doesn't have to go all guns blazing. They've set the platform now, and he can have a real good look, run it around, and if he gets into overdrive as well, then they'll be in for a big score.
Yeah, he's got, as well as his 100 against Durham, he's got 24 50s in T20 as well. And he drives this one to Bush. And he's sliding all over the place there. He's managed to stop it and get the throw into the bowler, but his legs are all over the place there. Needs to check his spikes, I think. Some rather brooding clouds drifting across towards us now. Anyway, you're listening to the BBC, and Yorkshire won the toss and decided to bat, and they're 107 for 1 against Durham after 9 overs.
Just 3 off that one then. Brooding clouds.
And a wicket.
Are we listening to BBC? Is it Radio 4? We have brooding clouds here.
Here's the
Riverside.
shipping forecast. Brooding clouds. Northwest Tyne. Banks of the Weir.
Dogger.
South
at Sierra, north at Sierra. Actually, just once, when you'll have to read that.
Yeah.
We have.
Oh,
we have
that's a no ball,
Souter
surely.
in again, and no ball, as Marty called it, pulled by Adam Lyth for a single, but this...
It's gone over.
The tennis, Adam Lyth might make it into the draw after that shot. He got a single, so 55 to him.
He's got to be very careful now. He's obviously got greasy hands and it's a bit damp. It's a free hit, and if he does it again, he's off.
And Middlebrook. And TKC gets underneath this next delivery. There is a man out on the long on boundary, but the ball beats him and bounces back off the advertising hoardings. It's still a long hit, and if you are going to take on the field when they are on the edge, you have to make sure, and he did that, Shorzy.
He did. He got enough on that, got into the ball, hit it hard, hit it long, and hit it into the crowd. Cadmore will be happy with the start that he's made. That's enabled him to get going, and he'll just look to put the bad ball away and rotate strike to the sweepers, and I assume Lyth will just keep going.
7 off 3 then for TKC. This one a little flatter, and he ends up pushing it back to the bowler.
Was a free hit, that 6, but it was interesting the angle it came down, because Travaskis was right on the boundary. It went behind him and then clipped the top of the advertising hoarding.
Souter in again on TKC into the pitch and back to the bowler, who feigns a little flick at the stumps. Don't want another one of those this week. Will Frayne run out backing up down at Southampton the other day with one of those flicks. There's, you know, the batsman had driven it through. George Hill drove it and flicked onto the stumps by Keith Barker. TKC playing a single out into the offside, moves him on to 8. Yorkshire to 117 for 1.
Mr. Rooney says Yorkshire are on the way to beating England's score this afternoon.
Here's Souter again, and that is pulled by Lyth along the carpet all the way, fielded at square leg, and they're going to get through for another comfortable one. So 2 no balls plus the 1, 6.11 is the analysis in this over so far, and Calder Cadmore just pushes it to short extra cover. Final ball of another bit of a damage limitation over in the end, but the 6, well, off a free hit, that's going to kill you, isn't it, if you do that on a regular basis? They haven't done so far, to be fair. That's a bit of a stray no ball, but 118 for 1 at the halfway stage.
Yeah, Yorkshire will be happy with that. Clearly happy with that first 10 overs, but it's also how now they've got the foundation to go on and go big, is to ensure that they do that. There's been a couple of times this season where they've made a really good start, but then in that middle period have just lost their way a little bit. But this evening they've certainly got the foundation to really push on and score big.
Travaskis back into the attack. He's bowled, is it 2 overs so far? Let's get the scorecard up, see where he is.
Yeah, bowled 2 overs, 3 and 5.
First ball flicked away by Lyth out through mid-wicket. Travaskis has gone for 26 runs in those first 2, and this first ball of the 3rd over goes for 2 through mid-wicket.
Last 5 times these teams have played each other, Marty, 3 wins for Yorkshire, 2 for Durham. For me, that's the sort of feel between the two sides, that you know, there's no consistent long-term winner.
Not really. I was looking, I think Yorkshire recently won 2 in a row, or Durham won 2 in a row, and it ended a run in which in 11 matches the winner had changed each time.
Yeah, you're right. 2019 into 2020, 2 wins for Yorkshire here, and then Durham won 2 in a row, one at Headingley, 1 here, and then Yorkshire won at Headingley, of course, the other week.
Yeah, so prior to that run then, it was 11 games in a row where the winner changed each time. It didn't matter whether you were home or away, whoever had won the last time lost the next time. Had a single off the last delivery. Here's the 3rd of the over now, and a swing by Tom Calder Cadmore out towards deep mid-wicket for 1. There's a gull floating around on the thermals just across the road towards the park there, and the whiteness of the gull against the dark sky is pretty obvious now.
Yeah, Martin Emerson, Radio 4.
Yeah. I don't think any rain is supposed to be coming, but that sky's not good. I don't like that sky, lads. Round the wicket comes the bowler.
Oh.
This is swept by Lythe out towards long leg.
Is this one of your local knowledge things now? When the sky's that colour, this time on a Friday night, it's going to rain.
Yeah, then you sniff the seaweed.
Oh.
Just to see what the crack.
As long as it's only the seaweed.
Yeah. Well, it says it's not going to rain. Storm risk 0. I'll settle for that. Travaskis, that's a wideish delivery, which I think if Tom Kohler-Cadmore had left that alone there, he probably would have got a wide. He was leaning a long way outside the off stump as he played it out through the covers for a single. One of my abiding memories of Yorkshire game here was our weather presenter did a little piece for me in the build-up of the show saying what a beautiful night it was for cricket. I've never seen such a violent storm. This is up to long on for 1 for Lythe, and that is the end of the over. It started with skies building up like this. This must have been 10 years ago or more. She said in the report that there is a bit of weather bubbling up, but in Chesley Street it's going to be a nice clear day. Well, the storm system just moved fractionally to the east, and did we not get it? It absolutely came down.
So Borthwick, by the looks of things, is back into the attack. And he's going to have a go here at Adam Lythe. Jay Grover says, can one of you buy Paul Shaw an ice cream? Sounds like someone's done something to his chips. Free ice creams, by the way, yesterday at Royal Ascot. Free ice creams in the press room.
Whenever we don't work together, you get an ice cream for free. But
free Magnums,
together,
other makes of lolly are available. And there are various flavours as well, Shawsy. Even you, picky that you are, would have found one, as Borthwick's in and Lythe, well, plays a cut shot really, but it goes out to extra cover for 1. Lily says Adam Lythe loves playing against Durham. Fantastic opening partnership between him and Finn Allen, and she's hoping TKC gets some. And Jan says, can you wish my dad Howard Wood a happy Father's Day for Sunday?
Oh, that's a bit premature. There's another match tomorrow.
He's watching on YouTube in Middlesbrough, and I'm listening on my holiday boat on the Broads. Great lovely comms as always. Thanks, Jan. There you go.
Jan in
as
Wroxham.
TKC works that one up towards long on, who's coming in to keep them to 1. Yeah, while we're doing that, do you know what? I'm going to indulge and say happy birthday to my elder son, who is, well, I'm not telling you how old he is, because that'll give me...
Who's 45 today.
It's his birthday today, so happy birthday, James. I think he's probably out doing something, but anyway, just in case he's tuned in. As Lythe rocks back and pulls that one between 2 men parading on the boundary edge, and that's a good piece of fielding by Coghlan, who had to make a lot of ground to get there. And 2 runs to Lythe. Yeah, I'm surprised what you've been saying about Coghlan, because, you know, every time we do a game together and he's playing, he's such a competitive player, very handy cricketer.
He's been a bit expensive at times. He's bowled some good spells this year as well.
Oh, now then, that was a good, quicker delivery. Yeah, that's the similar delivery to the one that got Finn Allen out from this end, isn't it?
Yeah.
He fired it through,
and
Adam Lythe missed. 64 off 37. Adam Lythe continues. Could this be a really big going day for him? Kohler-Cadmore 11 off 10. Borthwick in. He's banged that into the pitch, and that should be dealt with by Lythe, and is. 4 runs. It was, it was a poor delivery. He got what he deserved through mid-wicket.
He's just dragged that down, hasn't he? Yeah. He's dragged it down, and Lythe's rock back and give it the punishment that he often does when the ball's short. But back to those ice creams. Vanilla. Go for vanilla.
Well, that's you, isn't it?
All over.
It's got to be mint choc chip.
I had white chocolate on mine yesterday, I'm afraid.
Was it from Prince Charles's estate or something like that? What's it called?
It was all rather
Duchy
lovely.
Of Cornwall ice cream.
Here's Borthwick in and pulled by Lythe, and that's pinged away. That's a really good shot. He's split the gap between Coghlan and the man at long on, and he middled that one as well. So 2 boundaries in the over. He continues at pace, Adam Lythe, as do Yorkshire.
12 off the over.
And they're 137 for 1. It's the first time ever. Of 25 years in the job,
It's just the first time.
It's the first time ever in my case.
Just the first time.
First time ever.
It's just the first time.
In my case, it's the first time ever. That I've been in a press box where somebody's brought in a bottle of Veuve Clicquot and the Pims and said, "Here you go."
Wow.
So I'm trying to write stuff. No idea what it came out like at the other end.
We've had a jolly day here.
Marvellous race for the Gold Cup.
I feel a little bit dusty and a little bit whiffy now.
I'm hot. Was
I tell you, we
ride.
went to. Can you remember when Roy Ascot came to York?
Mm.
And
I went there, yeah.
Yeah, well, my wife's friend Vicky was the horse racing producer for Grandstand, and our other friend Graham was the horse racing producer for 5 Live. So we went down, had a great day. I was mentioning this the other day. We actually had a day where we won some money and covered all our costs. But went into the press tent, and the food in there, the seafood platter, tremendous.
He's good in there, yeah, very good, always. Angie, she looks after you well, does Angie, in the York press box? Press room.
Here's Coghlan back into the attack from the Finkel end. This is played to point by Cola Cadmore, 1 run. Yeah, we had a great day that day, and we won. I was sort of backing horses between 5 and 7 to 1. So we covered the cost of our train fare. We got in free food, and then we had enough money for the drinks and the meal on the evening. So it was a canny day out. That.
You were backing horses between 5 to 1 and 7 to 1, and they came in at 4:30.
Yeah. I lost all my money. Yeah, so I was doing a sort of 5 to 1, 7 to 1, something like that. Not necessarily the favourites, but chances of getting some money. Bouncer from Coghlan, and Lythe flicks this away down towards fine leg for 1.
Andy Walker says, really enjoying Yorkshire's exploits tonight, JD. Always great banter between you and Martin. Please tell him it could have been worse tonight. Johnny Bairstow could have been playing for Yorkshire.
Well, you can only have 2 players out there at any one time. Durham would still win this. They've slowed right down. Got them right where they want them. Coghlan in, bowls, short one, and that's quite heavy on the bat. It's dragged up to the 2 fielders don't know who's going to go for this one, and then it's gone between them for 4. It was Bushnell running round from long on, and coming round to meet him was Souter, and they sort of got towards each other, eased off a bit, then Bushnell went for it, and it went through them for 4.
Do you know what? That we don't know which way this is going to go. Durham might knock these off comfortably like Yorkshire did Durham's runs at Headingley, but sometimes you get a feeling on a night, don't you? And Yorkshire have had 6 or 7 boundaries where it's been within a fingertip of the diving fielder tonight, and it's gone. Yeah. On another night, that might be only a 1 or a 2. Yeah.
Here's Coghlan again. Another short one. That's up in the air, and that's gone between the 2 of them once more, but this time it's quite an easy 4. They're just bowling too short here. This tactic didn't work at Northants, it didn't work at Leeds, and it's not working tonight. You've got to pitch the ball up, because these players, anything short, they're just going to hammer it round the park. When does the penny drop?
Cadmore's just cleared his front leg there, give himself a little bit of space, and struck that ball well through the boundary.
Basically, it's too good a pitch to be bowling like this.
Slower one, slower Yorker on off stump, and that's only gone for a single this time. Take the pace off the ball, and there's an example of how it can work. It's not rocket science, T20, really, is it? I've watched 20 years of this now, and you just see the same mistakes being made every season.
Martin Emerson, Radio 4 and coach of Durham.
Coghlan in. Well, he's made a bit of room for himself live there and driven that through the covers for 1, but again it was pitched up. He had to back away to that one to give himself a bit of room. So you've had 3 balls there where the ball's been pitched up and he hasn't gone to the boundary.
Graham Ward said it's like listening to Morecambe and Wise at Chesley Street.
They never played here. They were
oh dear.
Which ones? They were I was thinking of Laurel and Hardy there for some reason. Ulverston, because one of Laurel and Hardy lived in North Shields for a while.
You're Ernie, because you're shorter than me and I've got the specs on.
Yeah.
And
have you got a
Shawsey?
Have you got a penchant for Luton Town Football Club as well?
Shawsey's obviously the little guest who comes on and gets slapped down the face or whatever.
Every now and then.
Gets the Mickey take now.
The wet kipper.
the famous former England women's head coach who won the Ashes gets the mickey taken out of him and loves it. It's the the Doidge and Emerson Christmas show in June. Here's Souter swept, and again that's just. I know we're having a bit of fun tonight, but some of the skills out there are fantastic, and I think one of the key things, I know one or two have gone beyond the fingertips, but also I mouthed the word placement to Shawsey a while ago when Finn Allen was in, and that's another case in point with that shot by Lythe. He knows exactly where the two fielders are. If he gets it just that little bit further back of the square and he gets enough on it, and I think that's great judgment from a batsman, and he's got him to 150 in just 13.1 overs.
Yeah, and the way he's played that shot is a really good example of someone in top form. He's actually premeditated that because he's taken a yard outside off stump, found the right length and swept that ball away, and he swept that ball hard for 4 runs. So he started the game, he's looking for the full ball, looking for the short ball, and now he's just beginning to premeditate a little bit, which suggests he's in real good form and he's reading the ball as well.
78 off 42. And Souter, right arm over the wicket. Lythe uses his feet to come down to him. Souter goes wide, and he still has the time then to just meet ball with bat as it pitches fairly wide there and push a single. Excellent stuff. Hang on a second, says Jay Grover. I'm 44 and got me dart a Father's Day present. I had no clue it were happening until I went to the shop, mind. But he's getting the cricketers' who's who and a daft comedy card. Well, good for him, I say. Tom Kohler-Cadmore pushes out into the offside, and Souter fields off his own bowling.
The cricketers' who's from 1983. Just checking it's not raining out there. It's got a bit darker.
Souter in, and TKC gets under this a little bit, but there is a long on out, nobody in at mid on, and therefore it was a safe shot, and he's pushed to 1. And we've got another MO listing in as well. Graham Emerson, hope you're well, pal. He says, hi pal, watching on YouTube in Thornton Cleveleys. Hope you're well. Enjoying this by the Vikings.
That's on the
Adam
coast
Lythe
near Blackpool,
has been
isn't it?
brilliant. Keep
Right.
it up, Yorkshire. Yeah.
Durham are in Blackpool on Thursday.
Good lad, Mo. Used to go to Horsforth School.
Ah.
You must have worked with Mo before in his days doing a bit of BBC broadcasting, Mo. It's the two Mos. That's the latest. That's going to be the latest commentary series.
My wife went to school in Horsforth.
Probably knows Graham.
Maybe.
Lythe runs that backward of point. 155 for 1. Adam Lythe walks up and steps into this and flicks it through mid-wicket. And I think Graham tweeting in, he's spot on. 2 more runs to Lythe, and it's been a pleasure to watch this tonight. He can be frustrating, can't he, Adam Lythe, at times? We know that, and I think we just get frustrated because he's still got so much ability and time when he's playing well, Shawsey.
He has, and obviously a number of fans want him to, once he's made that good start in the power play, stats are incredible in the power play, they just want him to go on and on and on. But he plays that way, doesn't he? He plays that way. He gets Yorkshire off often to a very, very good start, and he keeps playing. But the great thing about that, when he does get in and goes on, it gives people like Cadmore the opportunity to come in and knock it around to get in, knock it around, low risk high reward strategy. So whatever Lythe's going the way he is, it really helps and complements the batters coming in their games.
Borthwick to Kohler-Cadmore. That's gone big into the County Durham stand. Lower tier, halfway up. 6.
It's the length again. It's just a little short. Cadmore's rocked back and really put everything into that ball to clear the boundary by 40, probably about 40 feet. Good shot.
Yorkshire have now scored 150 or more against Durham 16 times, and their best 223 for 6 when they won by 49 runs in 2016 when Adam Lythe opened and made a then career best 87 in Leeds. Kohler-Cadmore again, that's a wideish ball, he plays it out into the covers, no run.
I think you need to be a bit more specific with your stats though, Marty.
Yeah.
I mean, how many 150s are they made on a Friday?
All of these are a Friday, except
when
the ones
the
that are on a
temperature's been
Sunday.
21 degrees or over?
Yeah. On a record-breaking temperature day on June the 17th. Yeah. Borthwick in again, floats that one right in, and it is met on the bounce. Full delivery, goes up to Bushnell at mid-on. you think?
Shows it is Angela Rippon, says Jay Grover.
I think he's got the wrong boots on here, Bushnell. Every time he throws the ball, he looks like he's going to slip over.
Yeah.
I wonder if he's not got his spikes on, just got Angela Rippon. Just got that. 164 for 1. 15th over here on BBC Radio Newcastle and BBC Radio Leeds. Borthwick bowls to Live. Live drives. He could be out here. Bushnell's right behind it and slides into the ground, takes a catch and bounces up again, and that is the end of Live. He has gone for 81. He's done a lot of damage to Durham from 45 balls, but he drove the ball straight to Bushnell at long on and long off it was, and Bushnell making sure as he got the ball, he just went down on one knee just to make sure he didn't let go of that one.
Yeah, Live has just not been able to carry the ball over that boundary there, hasn't he? He's going to take on Bushnell and try and hit it over the long off. Not quite being able to do that, but what a fantastic innings by Live. A wonderful innings. 81 runs here at Durham this evening. 1-6, 11 fours.
Partnership 59.
Fantastic form.
And thank goodness from Durham's perspective for Scott Borthwick here, because he's just about finished his spell and he's been reasonably cheap by comparison on the night, and he's got 2 wickets, 2 for 34. 9.3 and over still, but at least he's done a bit of damage. And just when you get Tom Kohler-Cavmore out, who comes in?
Harry Brook. Another one off the Spatey production line at Sedbergh. He told me quite a while ago he was quite excited about Harry Brook and thought he would go a long way in the game. Borthwick in, and he's going to be out first ball by the looks of things. This is skied. Bushnell's under it. He's got it. Oh, he falls over. He takes it. Does a backward roll. Brook's gone first ball. And he hit that a long way up, and Bushnell came round. Travaskis came round as well, and Bushnell took the catch standing on the matting for the advertisers, sponsors, whatever, and he slipped on the matting. I've been talking about him slipping a lot, and he nearly lost it there, didn't he? So a first baller for Brook.
Interesting, and clearly his lowest score of the season.
So Borthwick's on a hat-trick then, isn't he?
Yeah.
Or was that his last ball?
It was... Well, you can understand him playing it first ball in a sense that they've got so many on the board, and he's been in such great form. He's not quite timed it well, and maybe he might have just patted one back, tried to have a look at the pace of it, but either way they've got plenty more to come and not a lot of time.
Oh, he's got 1 ball left, I think, Borthwick, and he's on a hat-trick. Hat-tricks for Durham in this format. There's been one for Paul Collingwood against North Hants. Coghlan got one at North Hants, and Matty Potts got one with the last 3 balls a couple of seasons ago, I think it was, at Leicestershire.
The only one I've seen for Yorkshire has been Lockie Ferguson in the Roses match at Headingley last year to finish off the match.
He's got Yorkshire's only hat-trick. There have been 3 against. Jeremy Snape for Leicestershire, Keith Barker for Warwickshire, and Jeetan Patel for Warwickshire. Borthwick in, and it's a dot ball. It's gone to point. The new man, by the way, is
Shadab Khan.
Shadab Khan, who's just come back from Pakistan one-day international duty against the West Indies.
So 164 for 3 from 15 overs, and as I say, if Durham do find a way to win this match, and there's nothing to say they can't do that, it's a good pitch. If they do find a way, then maybe there'll be a few slaps on the back for Scott Borthwick as well. 3 wickets is, in T20 cricket, a major contribution with the ball. 3 for 34 off 4 overs. And we are seeing Liam Travaskis bowl a wide first up in what is his 4th and final over here, over number 16. And he comes again. Kohler-Cavmore works that through straight mid-wicket. Travaskis herring after himself. Oh, Shadab wants a second run. Kohler-Cavmore does not. That you'll often find Shadab, if you play any number of games with Tom Kohler-Cavmore, that will be the case. He'll err on the side of caution with those sorts of things. And I think he was right as well. That looked pretty iffy. Had they gone. And they can afford to err on the side of a little bit of caution. They still want to get as many as they can piled on the board. Of course they do. 30 off 20 for TKC. You wouldn't want to see the back of him now, having got himself in. And he is playing that sort of innings that I suggested he could do when he first walked out there. Travaski's in, and Shadab gets under this, lofts it out towards long off, who's not going to quite have the legs, nor is the ball to reach each other without bouncing, and they get just the one. But Shadab's off the mark.
Yeah, just cleared the infield there, didn't he? Just over the circle and in the gap for 1 run.
And from what I can gauge from within shows, I think Shadab feels like he owes the team after his first spell, which wasn't the most successful, let's be honest about it. Kohler Cavmore pushes that out to short extra cover, and there's no run. Travaski's in. Kohler Cavmore, he's not quite timed this. I think he was hitting it straighter than it went. Got a little bit of inside on it out towards mid-wicket and picks up 1.
Borthwick's now got 70 wickets in T20 for Durham, and in total 79. Had 3 years at Surrey as well.
Travaski's then to Khan, who's got underneath this one, a long way up in there. Big chance for a catch coming in from the boundary edge, and taken over fashion. It will count.
Is that Bushnell again?
Is it? I can't recognise him from here.
No.
But it is 168 for the loss of 4 wickets now, Yorkshire. So we'll wait for Marty to try and work it out who it is for us.
Again.
It's the first wicket of the night that has gone the way of Travaskis. Caught Bushnell, bowled Travaskis for 1 of 3 deliveries. Shadab Khan. So another low contribution with the bat.
It's going a bit Pete Tong all of a sudden from a Yorkshire point of view, isn't it?
Yeah.
Well, the game can change so quickly in T20 cricket in space of just a few balls. We've seen the 3 wickets, haven't we? And all of a sudden from Yorkshire having the foot down and going really, really well. And now 168 for 4 with just over 4 overs left.
So it needs somebody else to come off. At halfway they were 118 for 1. They ain't going to double that second half.
They've lost 3.
Unless something extraordinary happens in the last 4 overs.
3 for 4.
Travaskis to Will Frayne, who's out there. Opens the face and runs it out to point. First ball for a dot. So 168 for 4 after 16.
Yeah, it could change the way Cadmore's playing as well, because he was just accelerating, was he? Now he's probably going to think, well, he's got 4 overs left. They know they need to get 200 plus. But it's whether Frayne can come in and strike the ball, or whether Cadmore's going to continue to go. I think Cadmore will just look to put the real bad ball away and still rotate, and Frayne come in and strike. But we'll see in the next 4 overs. But they will be disappointed if they don't get above that 200 mark.
How many overs have we had? 16.
Yeah, Souter's going to finish.
Yeah, Souter comes in and bowls. That's a half tracker. It's driven up towards long off to Travaskis by Kohler Cadmore. He's coming back for the second. Will Frayne's the new batsman.
It does look quite a bit of, whether it's dew or a bit of rain in there, I'm not sure, but a number of the Durham players now have got cloths with them or towels with them to dry the ball.
Comes in again here, and played by Kohler Cadmore, not far on the leg side, and Will Frayne sent off for a single and was sent back. I was trying to bowl with control and take the pace out of the game a few overs ago, and I think we've done that really since I said it. Oh, now it could be a run-out chance here, or the throw to Souter. Oh, he is out.
Yeah.
Frayne's gone. So the ball was played by Kohler Cadmore wide of Souter. He dived in. He had to go quite a few yards across to his right. He dived in, got the ball. The throw to the stumps at the far end didn't look like it was near enough, and the keeper had to take it quite away to his right, and he managed to swing his arms round and knock the stump out of the ground before Frayne got there. Yeah. Suddenly, Yorkshire are in all kinds of bother here. So Frayne goes for a duck.
Well, he's having absolutely no luck at all, Will Frayne. This week at Hampshire, he was run out backing up. The second innings, he got an absolute brute of a delivery that just spat off a length. And now he's been run out having faced just the one ball. without scoring a run.
The momentum certainly shifted, but again, Marty, like you were saying, they've just taken the pace out of the game and pace off the ball as well. So and bowled one side of the wicket a little better in the last 3 or 4 overs, and Yorkshire unfortunately have made just from their perspective just a number of errors, and they've lost the 4 wickets very, very quickly, which again, as I say, has changed that momentum, and Durham's wrestled that momentum back.
Here's a new batsman, Jordan Thompson. This is played out through deep mid-wicket for 1 run. He's off the mark.
They did, of course, snatch defeat from the jaws of victory here in the quarter-final against Sussex last year. Everything looked right in front in the game, and then
Durham beat them here as well, didn't they? Last year it was the opening round of the games.
Yep.
Sauter in. Oh, that's off the pads. He's appealing, and they're going to run 1. Ball bounces down towards backward point. Leg by signalled.
Steve Emerson watching in Selby. Another MO tweets in.
This is driven up to Bushnell, down at long off in front of us. 1 run. And that is the end of the 17th over, and that is the end of Sauter. None for 36 from 4 overs, but he did have a hand in that run out.
And the Vikings playing all the right notes, but not necessarily in the right order. Oh dear.
I like him. I like him.
It was the Angela Rippon thing that, you know.
I'm just waiting for tomorrow's
These notes
headlines. There's too many repeats on the BBC these days.
These notes, is that a play what you wrote? Right, 173 for 5 with 3 to come. 17 have been bowled. 4 overs, 1 for 37 for Travaskis, 4 overs for 34 Scott Borthwick, and 4 overs, none for 36 for Centre. Lily says, great 81 by Adam Lyth. These 2 wickets have slowed Yorkshire down. Well, add a few more to that now. Graham Ward says, joking aside, JD, Yorkshire may need all of these runs. Here we go, collapse underway. As we see Ben Rain back into the attack. Short ball pulled by Jordan Thompson. Down out to deep backward square, where the fielding is done by Sauter, yeah. 72. So another 1 to the total. And Ben Rain coming in to finish things off, well, unless things go horribly wrong for him in this over. And it's TKC on strike. He's on 33. He's been the steady influence while those wickets have been falling, and Yorkshire may be thankful for that in a few deliveries time. Short ball by Rain, banged into the pitch, and Tom Kohler-Cadmore pulls that out to mid-wicket, and they get a single. Jan says that her dad was so chuffed, made his weekend. We're glad to have done so.
Can I just tell Jan, be aware of that bridge over the harbour at Great Yarmouth when the tide's in, when you're on your boat.
Thompson on strike, Rain round the wicket. Thompson has got plenty on this, out towards long on. It's 1 bounce and then into his hand, but they're only going to get the 1. Hit it too well. Dr. Chris Whittaker, bother, 170 for 5, bit of an overstatement. Much. And Graham Emerson back on says, what's going on? Credit to Durham, but the Vikings are their own worst enemies. From a comfortable position to panic mode. Rain over the wicket to Kohler-Cadmore, short and pulled, and he's got plenty on that, and that's going to be 4. 4 through mid-wicket from the moment it left the bat, and again, excellent placement from TKC.
Right out the meat. You been on the Norfolk Broad?
Never, no.
No. Lovely area. Beautiful.
There is a line there, but I can't use it on radio, particularly on Radio 4. As Rain's in, and with a thickish outside edge, leading edge, he's got that away. Kohler-Cadmore into the covers, and they'll pick up 1. Coglan doing the fielding. So TKC on to 39, 181 for 5. There are 13 deliveries left in this innings, which was at one stage 118 for 1 at the halfway stage. That was. Second wicket didn't fall until 164. So 4 wickets have gone. 4 wickets went at one stage for just 6 runs. Thompson waits. Left-handed back to us as Rain runs in. That's Yorker length and wide of off stump.
And dust coming up there.
Yeah, Thomas tried to pull that one through mid-wicket and missed. So invaluable dot as far as the home side are concerned. 181 for 5 and just 12 balls left. Will they actually get to 200 now? Looked nailed on, didn't it, for long enough?
I tweeted earlier they looked like they were going to get well past 200 and then suddenly bang, bang, bang. And here's Coghlan coming in now. Got a ball with control here. If he keeps banging it in short, Kohler Cadmore will take him round the park. Two overs left here on BBC Radio Newcastle and BBC Radio Leeds and the Yorkshire stations. Jay says, well done Mr. Shaw, you'll be Glenda Jackson next. Coghlan in, right arm over. Chopped down into the ground and off towards the covers for 1 by Kohler Cadmore. Fielded by Ashton Turner. I think head to head, 39 matches these two. Durham have won 15, Yorkshire 19. The only other team to have beaten Durham more than Yorkshire's Lancashire with 23. Coghlan in to bowl, and this is up in the air and comes off the splice of the bat and loops out towards wide mid-off for 1 run for Jordan Thompson.
I'm looking forward to when the 3 of us are out there on the pitch for the half-time display of There's Nothing Like a Dame with the sailor suits on. I'll be able to do my Eddie Waring again then. I don't know where we'll find a Peter Woods from though with you two.
Coghlan in, wideish delivery, out the back of the hand, up to a long off for 1 from Kohler Cadmore. Score moves on to 184 for 5. 3 singles so far off this over, so that's much better. And the last over we saw from Coghlan, he was a bit costly in his first 3 deliveries and then really sorted it out with the last 3. None for 42 from 3.3 so far. That's going to be a wide. Spears are wide beyond the blue mark on the edge of the track. If he's not careful here, he'll go for 50 again.
Graham Ward, Dragons.
I think the highest score on this ground's 225. Coghlan bowls and pulled by Thompson out towards deep mid-wicket for 1. I think it was when Coghlan got his hat-trick at Northants a few years ago. It was the last over and he'd gone for 47 runs and then took a hat-trick with the last 3 balls, but he just looked so fed up at how his night had gone, and it was only when Paul Collingwood came and put an arm round him and said you've got a hat-trick that I think he realised. Slower ball outside the off stump and a play and a miss this time from Kohler Cadmore's. The pace was taken right out of the situation. He was through the shot before it really got to him, and he's now saying to the umpire why wasn't that a wide, but it was definitely inside the line. It was only halfway across really.
It's well bowled actually, isn't it? Very well bowled.
So this is the last ball for Coghlan, and this is driven. It will only go for 1 down to Bushnell at long off, so he manages to avoid going for 50. I think the generally the last over and a half from Paul Coghlan, really good stuff from him there after the start he gave himself earlier. So none for 45 from 4.
Yorkshire are 187 for 5 with going into the very late stages of their innings. Just 1 over left. At the midway point, Yorkshire were 118 for 1. Certainly looking to post well above 200. The question is, will they manage to get to 200 with just 6 balls remaining?
So, To bowl those 6 deliveries, it's going to be Ben Rain. No surprises. And he's coming in now, right arm over the wicket, bowling to Kola Cadmo, who's not far off being caught and bowled here. He smacked it straight back over the bowler's head, and his outstretched arm couldn't quite reel it in. Good evening to you, Dave Wilford, out there in Ilkley. Sorry, Dave, you've been in hospital again this week, and hope things are okay, old boy.
Got anyone living in Otley?
I think there's probably a few thousand who do.
Yeah, listening in tonight, I'm wondering.
All right. Rain in, and that's full, and Kola Cadmo gets it up to the incoming long on and gets a single. 45 off 35 for him. So strike rate's come down for TKC. He's not been able to kick on, has he, at the end, as we probably thought he might do, and he probably thought he might do as well. But I think also it just feels like Durham have executed what they want to do better in the last quarter of this innings. I've just been going through the figures in terms of Yorkshire's runs per over. Here's Rain, and now then Jordan Thompson's got hold of this down towards long on, all the way for 6 runs, and that will be a nice fillip towards the end of the innings for the visiting side. He goes on to 12 from 8, 196 for 5, 3 balls left to get to the magical 200, and that will be still a good achievement. And I think you've got to say this, you know, it's all right the doom and gloom merchants saying they've blown it here and they've lost a few quick wickets, but you've also got to take into account what the bowling side have produced, and they weren't very good in the early stages, and Yorkshire took full toll on that, and they're entitled to come back and bowl better and get it right, and if they can master Yorkshire for a few overs, then that's the game, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. And you know, fair play to Durham. The last 5 or 6 overs, they've bowled really, really well. They've bowled one side of the wicket. They've bowled slow ball variations. They took the pace off and made it that bit more difficult for Yorkshire.
Rain to Thompson, then round the wicket, wide of the stumps, and 2 wide for...
Just see where this is pitched. Yeah, it's gone too far wide, hasn't it? Because the batsman did step right across to the offside to try and have a go at it, and I just thought it was the lack of pace that had foiled him. But
so I'm going to go through the scores per over in a minute. There were only 3 overs in the first 10 that went for single figure amounts, as Thompson digs out a wide Yorker length delivery out to the cover for a single, 198 for 5. So 7 off the first over, then 15, 17, 18, 9. So the single figure score was still a good one. 13, 12, 13, 4, and then 11 off the 10th over. And then second half, only 2 overs have gone for double figures. So total reversal, well, not total reversal, but a significant reversal. I'll give you those in a moment, because Rain is coming in for the penultimate ball of this Yorkshire innings, and Kola Cadmo's got plenty on this out towards mid-wicket, and it was a great attempt at a catch, but not being taken on this occasion. And they've got back for 2. That will be 200 on the board off 19 overs and 5 deliveries.
that's the 13th time Durham have conceded 200 in a T20, and I think it's the 3rd time Yorkshire have done it to them.
So in the back half, 7 off the 11th over, then 12, 12, 8, 7, 4, 5, 8 and 6. Much better by Durham. And for all that so-called collapse, they're still only 5 down over the course of 20 overs. They lost a few quickies. As it rains in for the final ball, TKC finds the field, and there's an attempt at a run out, but it is not out. So he will finish not out as well on 48 from 37 deliveries. Jordan Thompson 13 off, I think the board reads 9. The mince pies are not the best, and Yorkshire will finish on 201 for the loss of 5 wickets from their completed 20 overs. There were, where are the extras on the board? They're not shown.
They're not on the board, no. I can tell you.
That's handy.
Extras wise,
10.
There were 10. That's going to take some getting from a Durham point of view. That's a big score on this ground.
I agree. If Shawsey, you know, you're the coach here, if you put 201 on the board, whether or not you've had the greatest, you know, fantastic first half, and the opposition have pulled it back a bit in the second half, whichever way round it's gone, you walk off the field, you've still got 201 on the board. You should be able to defend that if you bowl well.
Absolutely, 200 is 200 on any ground, and certainly here, what's the top score here? 225,
I think it was Durham against Leicestershire. Yeah.
So Yorkshire's very, very much in a strong position, put themselves in a strong position, and before the game started, they would have taken 200 quite clearly. When you look across the Yorkshire innings and the comeback of Durham, I mean, after 6 overs, the power play of Yorkshire was 79 for none and going like a train. Then at 10 overs, they were 118 for one. It was actually in that 15th over where the game started to change, didn't it, with the number of wickets falling there. And all credit to Durham. They bowled really, really well those last 5 or 6 overs. The partnership of Lyth and Finn Allen was outstanding. It gave them the foundation to push on. And, you know, without that foundation, they perhaps wouldn't have got to where they got. But as you say, Doge, 201... that's a total in any ground, isn't it?
And Scott Borthwick, I mentioned, during commentary when he'd completed his 4 overs, they've gone for 6 sixes in the innings. He's gone for 2 of those and 3 fours, and yet he's still only gone for 34 overall and taken 3 wickets. I think he's got to take a lot of credit there for sort of getting starting, if you like, that little bit of a rot in the 2/3 of the way through stage to set in before Yorkshire have been able to run it around again. And I think also, Liam Travaskis and Nathan Souter. So I think there you go. 3 slow bowlers are the ones who've been the more difficult ones to get away, and the 2 seam bowlers have both gone for 11.5 and 11.25 per over themselves and not taken a single wicket between them. We talked about the setups of the 2 teams before they went out there, and we said Yorkshire have got 3 of those tweakers. They have Shadab Khan, who can bowl better than we've seen so far. Maybe tonight is a going night for him. Jack Shutt, who's had a 5 for here before, and Dominic Best.
Hi, Ben Stokes here. I just want to welcome you to Seat Unique Riverside.
We've always been good at designing niche products for consumers. So our thinking was, if we can use the same design skills on products which have got more volume, we'll be more successful. The big issue was the plan to do it. We set a figure of a capacity to make 250,000 pieces a year. That's an ambitious target, that's our figure. So we then worked with the machinery designers to make the washing machines. Number one in this product, it's got to be reliable. A washing machine has a lot of hard work to do, and it's a very important part of most households. So reliability was a big issue.
Well, the covers remain in place. They're actually just pulling the extensions out at the moment. You can see a sliver of bright sunshine between the clouds just behind the pavilion. What can you see? Can you see anything? Can you see anything around the corner?
Just a slither of just a gap which is really bright, and then everything else is dark and looking a bit a bit like one of those artworks where there's sort of God up on the cloud, and
is that in Pudsey Chapel? Is that where
yeah, probably yeah. No,
Right,
not Pudsey. No, I never went to a church in Pudsey. Well, I played for Pudsey Lawrence Cricket Club, but playing for them on Sunday.
Are you?
Yeah. In an over somethings game, over 21s.
Yeah.
Yeah. Or a get over yourself game, I think it is.
Where's that at then?
It's at Bowling Old Lane Cricket Club in Bradford.
Oh. Just slightly over the border then, is it?
The tournament is lovingly called the Grey Foxes.
Right.
Because we're all cricketers of a certain age.
Reminds me of a canal boat channel I watch on YouTube. Foxes Afloat. They called their boat the Silver Fox. They were of a certain age with silvery hair. Anyway, the covers have been towed away again now, so hopefully we'll get going any moment and we'll not lose any overs. They build in half an hour extra into each innings in these T20s, and I think they first did that in the summer of 2007, which was a very, very wet summer. Remember my birthday that year, standing watching the rain at Headingley, and then they came out for something like a 6-over thrash aside. It's around about that period where some clubs were not repaying fans if games were rained off, so the ECB brought in new regulations. I remember that summer standing on the roof at Grace Road with loads of people in the street, not prepared to come in until they were convinced the game would actually get going. Right, Durham then coming out to reply to Yorkshire's total of 201 for 5. It was their 4th time they've scored 200 or more against Durham. Durham have got to do something they haven't done before. They've got to score more than 200 in a run chase. Their highest 199 on this ground against Northampton 2014. They've got their work cut out because they've got to go at more than 10 and over. So they might get off to a really good start, as we have seen them do in the T20 in recent weeks. And, can they keep the impetus going from the off, though? Graham Clark, who was out for a duck the other night, a rare failure for him in this format. And I think the week before, or the match before that, he was bowled by Liam Hurt last Friday, but the match before that he was run out for 2, backing up in the end of the first over, and Adam Hose deflected the ball back onto the stumps. Leach it is, right arm over bowling. This is played down into the ground by Clark, bounces over the bowler, and it's collected just beyond him though. So is this Leach's second game, isn't it? He's from Middlesbrough, made his first class debut in 2020, but his T20 debut came against the Brummagem Bears this year. He took 1 for 16. Suffered a nasty knee injury last year when he slid off the pitch in a Roses game in a first class match in a very wet wicket heading. Damaged his knee. Comes in right arm over and bowls, and a play in a miss from Clark. Plays his club cricket for Normanby Hall in the North Yorkshire South Durham League. If that's what where I'm thinking is, that's just on the outskirts of Harrogate. There's a nice golf course there that I've played a few times.
Yeah, and Dominic Leach has just got a little bit of something about him. He's still a little raw, but he certainly runs in, bowls quickly, attacks the crease, and again another good prospect from a bowling perspective for Yorkshire.
In he comes, that's gone down the leg side.
I thought Normanby Hall was in the north, Middlesbrough area.
It is. I remember seeing my dad playing a cup tie there years ago in the 80s. Quite a big ground from memory, that one. I'm sure we drove all the way back from Scotland on a really red hot evening, and my dad was told to open the batting and got a first bowler. I'm sure that was Normanby Hall. Balls again. This is flicked in the air by Clark and away out towards deep mid wicket. We had a wide down the leg side the previous delivery, so this is the first run off the bat. Yeah, Normanby's part of Middlesbrough, isn't it?
I think so. Not that I'm an expert on Middlesbrough, I've got to say, but yeah, I do believe.
Well, people who live there claim they live in Yorkshire.
Quite right. Everybody would want to claim that, wouldn't they?
There's a Normanby Hall, which is a mansion in North Lincolnshire as well. 2 on the board for Durham. Jones on strike. Plays and misses to a ball which is wide-ish of off stump. Normanby Hall, red car in Cleveland. It had a manor house as well. Robbie Stoker says, spookily enough, the heavens opened here in Thailand the exact time as Chesley Street had some rain. It's 2 AM here now, so they need to get a shake on or I'm off to bed. This is played by Jones out through the covers. 1 run. Durham's first over with the ball went for 7. I've lost my scorecard. Where's that gone? There. Nope. Don't know where I put my scorecard. It's on the floor. Yeah, Yorkshire scored 7 off the first over, but then they had 22 on the board at the end of the second and 39 at the end of the third, 57 at the end of the fourth, so they went to town. Leach in and played by Clark out towards point for 1 run. So a very tame start from Durham, 4 on the board. But at the moment they are only 3 behind on parity.
Yeah, good start for Dom Leach.
It is, yeah. I mean, he's running, hasn't he? He's running in his bowled decent areas. A couple of balls where he wouldn't be happy with, but generally speaking, he's bowled relatively tight lines, and he's not allowed the Durham batters to get their hands through the ball, not allowed them any width at all. So he'd be pleased with that.
Do you know what, folks? We pay this guy thousands of pounds to drive miles across the country and summarise and add those little touches that we can't possibly pinpoint. And when you hand to him after the first over of the Durham innings and you say he's bowled well, I didn't realise that he'd run in from his mark up to the wicket there. He's run in, hasn't he?
Running with real purpose, hasn't he? Really running.
That's that cutting edge insight that we wanted.
It is. Momentum through the crease.
So, yeah, it's forward out loss, all joking apart, and it's going to be Don Bess who's opening.
Oh.
And he's bowling over number 2, and he's been swept immediately by Graham Clark for a very nicely played 4 all the way along the carpet, Shawsey, wide of fine leg.
Yeah, it's his line here. His line's leg stump as he's come round the wicket and a little bit full, so Clark's been able to pounce on that and play the ball behind square on the leg side. He's played that really well, actually. Lovely sweep shot. Good shot from Clark. That moves Durham on to 8 for none.
Was Bess suggesting he hadn't bowled as much as he wanted to in the preview to this match?
I didn't see the preview to this match. I was driving most of the day up the M1 or A1.
Did you not know which one you were on?
Well, I drove up the M1 first, plus the M25, and then the A1 after that. 6 hours to get here today, folks. There you go. That's dedication for you. As Bess is in, there was a dot ball, and now he's been worked into the onside for another 1. Yes,
let's all feel sorry for the man who earlier in the commentary told us he had free ice cream and champagne at Royal Ascot yesterday. Our heart bleeds.
Bess round the wickets, and Clark steps away and pulls that to mid-wicket for a single. Yeah, to go answer your question in a convoluted way.
I can't remember what it was now.
It was he suggesting in the preview that he's not bowled as much as he wanted? I think yes is the answer to that. One of the reasons he came to Headingley, apart from getting, playing for a big club who have won a championship, unlike obviously the club he left, was that they weren't using him at all in T20 cricket, really, were they? And he wanted more of an opportunity. He's bowled a wide here down. Very pleasant scene as always up here. We haven't got that beautiful sunset that we had this time last year. I've got a few photographs of that. Oh, it was a belter, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Here's Bess in, and lovely use of feet here by Jones. He's stepped into that, lofted it straight, just to the offside of straight, and that's a beautifully executed 4 runs.
Yeah, very good shot there by Jones. Down the wicket, good base, struck through the line of the ball, and in between, mid-on and mid-off. Nice strike.
6 hours. 6 hours. How many hours was that? Here's Bess again, round the wicket once more, and that's run wide of mid-on. They're going to get through for 1. Adam Lyth coming in to do the tidying up. So a couple of boundaries in that over, so slow start as Marty said with 4 off the first, but they've added 11 more off over number 2, and they've all come off the bowling of Dominic Bess. 15 without loss after 2.
Did you say you're at Chesterfield tomorrow, but you were worried about the weather forecast? It's going to be lovely up here tomorrow.
Is it?
Yeah.
Well, we're not here.
No, it's unlucky. Who's this coming in then? This is Leach again. Came through the academy. Right arm quick from the Finkel end, and Jones looks to hammer him into next week with a very aggressive looking slog sweep through the leg side, but he played and missed.
You just mentioned them, man, in the Leach coming through the Yorkshire Academy. 2 clubs here actually that's had very good academies over the years, that's produced a number of excellent young players, haven't they?
Yeah. And this is where you generally see them starting to make a name for themselves as well in the T20, isn't it? And that's also now the One Day Cup with that disappearing behind the 100. That's a short one, and it's hooked away for 6, just over the ropes to cow corner from Jones. He's just beaten the rope down on our right-hand side there. Lots of dust coming up as he landed the ball. They did a lot of work on the grass last year. I came in the winter because my daughters were in the nets, and all the outfield was just black because they put so much loam on it and, you know, sand and everything else. So, and it's just so dry. I mean, they have the sprinklers on, but it's been so dry. It's very dusty surface, and it's hard as well. That's the other thing. Jones on strike as Leach bowls again, and he looks to go hard after him this time and plays and misses at a ball which pitches just outside of off stump and goes low past the stumps to the keeper.
61,400 odd there today at Royal Ascot.
Was it?
That's a lot of strawberries and Veuve Clicquot. Other champagnes obviously also available.
And hats. Who were you there for?
I was there for... do you want me to name them?
You can do.
I was there for bestofbets.com.
Never heard of them. In comes Leach bowls. Oh, that's a wide. Trying to take the pace off it and drift. All that malarkey.
It was very warm yesterday, so it was 30 today. It must have been horrendous.
Yeah.
There was a lot of people, just patches of sweat everywhere yesterday, and that was 25, 26 in the morning suits and the top hats. The photographers, they made the photographers go in suits. How ridiculous is that, I've got to say.
Yeah. Leach bowls. Oh, it's towed. Jones looked to pull it hard through the leg side, and it's come off the toe of the bat and just gone out to lie at mid-on. The last time I was down there was April 2005. I was across the road. I went for an interview at the European Tour because they were looking for a new press officer. And fantastic place round there. Virginia Water, isn't it, around that area? I got down to the last 3, and then it was either the job went to either somebody from the snooker or the tennis. I can't remember, but I looked on every website I could see. I couldn't have afforded anything property-wise down there.
Your interview was a bit under par, was it?
Oh, clever. I'm just going to put that to one side for now. Live with the throw back to the stumps as this is played by Jones to wide mid-on. It was a good interview. The two guys who interviewed me were really good fun, but I think what went against me was the two people who were in the lineup did already travel around the world for a sporting organisation. So I remember looking at ex-army houses on former military bases in Aldershot and thinking I can't even afford them. So
did you shoot an albatross for luck on your way there?
Oh, what a mess. That's the end of Clark, and Leach gets a wicket, and Clark has gone for 7, playing across the line. He's lost his off stump, and this has been generally a fairly tame start from a Durham point of view, and they haven't got going with a bat like Yorkshire did. And Clark's gone. He's suddenly finding himself in a little bit of a tricky run of games now, a 2, a duck and a 7.
Yeah, Clark's looked to strike that ball slightly across the line towards the vacant deep mid-wicket area, and Leach has not come off the stumps. He's ensured that he's kept the stumps in play. He's targeted the stumps. You miss, high hit. So it's a good wicket that for young Leach. He'll be happy with that, and that increases his tally of wickets this season, gradually growing. But the most important thing for Yorkshire is that's the first wicket of the Durham innings, 23 for 1.
It's always good to know that when a wicket's taken, it's gradually growing in the wickets column.
Gradually. Gradually growing.
Hi Marty and the boys, says Darren Cook, enjoying the commentary tonight. Need a decent run chase from Durham here. Well, that hasn't happened yet. Just to let you know, we drew our first game of the season on Sunday against Yorkshire after scoring 252 from 20 overs. We're away to Lancashire on Sunday in Manchester, so hoping for a win there. That's Darren Cook, the Durham visually impaired captain.
He's done it again as Shawsey. Gradually growing. Shawsey, you've underplayed that because he's just doubled his T20 wickets tally. He got 1 on debut last week and he's doubled it.
Yeah. Caught into the attack with an edge here from Jones. Has gone for 4. Keep her up to the stumps.
So Shadab. Yeah, well, he's picked up where he left off. He's gone for a boundary with his first delivery. 27 for 1. And edgy, I don't know. It looked like he was trying to run it away fine. See what Shadab can produce now. Right arm over. Oh, now then, there's a bit of a leading edge about this one from Jones. Out to Will Frayne, who's parading around in the covers. So 4 dot. He's got one back for his team, having conceded the boundary.
A little bit of spin there, Dodgy. Just a little bit.
Yeah.
You're a very harsh man, aren't you?
He's pushed a single up to mid on this time.
Very harsh man. Starting where he left off. It was a outside edge, that. Outside edge that just run past the off stump and run away for 4 runs.
Sorry, Shadab. He'll probably refuse an interview with me afterwards. As that's played into the mid-wicket region this time by Robinson, who was quick between the wickets and received good support, but Jordan Thompson was quicker still coming in from the boundary to do the fielding.
And of course, in the power play, the Vikings are allowed 2 players outside the circle. Got long on and deep mid-wicket. As Khan comes in again.
In his turquoise boots, and that's pushed squarish on the offside. Now there's a little bit of indecision for a split second there between Jones and Robinson, but it wasn't for long enough for Yorkshire to execute a run out. So the single means that Jones now moves on to 19 from 13, 30 for 1, 7 off the overs so far. Shadab will be looking to get out without a boundary. He's beaten the bat this time. It might run away for 4 byes. It won't, because Jack Shutt is round to field, but it's going to be a couple of byes, is it? Did he signal? Don't think he did. No, it's 2 off the bat. Interesting. Robinson picks up 2 then. End of over number 4. Durham 8 and over at the moment, 32 for 1.
Quite a sedate start from them here. I'm just wondering where they're going to find second gear, because they need to be going along at 10 and over. That was the start, 10.1 fraction more. It's now 10.6. Chris Sharp says, I wish they'd stop bowling wides, because every time they show the wide graphic, the commentary cuts out on the stream for a moment or two. Somebody else tweeted about that the other night as well. I'll have to mention that with the technical people here. They've got a super duper new computer now, so everything was meant to be hunky-dory.
Matthew Revis coming on at the Finkland.
Yeah. Another product of Sedbergh, isn't he?
I don't think he spent all his years there, sort of thing.
Right. Right arm over, and played by Jones out towards point for 1. The crowd have not really seen anything to get them going yet tonight from a Durham perspective.
I'm sure he'll correct us if we're wrong, Matthew Revis, but from an interview I did with George Hill when he got his 150 at Northants, I think he said that Rev didn't go for the full sort of Monty at the school. Yeah.
He's pushed out towards the covers. He might have just gone for a cricket scholarship and maybe 6th form perhaps, something like that. He's from Steeton, is that right, in Bradford?
Well, that's just where the hospital is. The ESPN put the hospital down, don't they, as place of birth. So
place for Farsley in the Bradford Premier League.
The Airedale Hospital.
Oh, is that the right?
Steeton.
I know that hospital. Yeah.
Just outside Keighley.
Yeah, it is. It's on the trunk road, isn't it? That's played out through mid-wicket for 1 run. 2 misfield. They're going to get 2 runs there. That was a little bit unfortunate from Don Bess. It slipped through his hands. Yeah, that's what's the little village next to that then? Well, it's actually sort of it's where the railway goes through, doesn't it? Just beyond the hospital, and you've got the canal up on the top of the hill. What's the place called?
Silsden.
Yes, that's it, Silsden. Played by Robinson out through the cover area for 1. I remember watching. We went for a meal there one Sunday, and it was League Cup final. Watched Liverpool in a League Cup final in a pub in Silsden. What a romantic afternoon that was. 36 for 1. She can never question the fact that I don't treat her well. So
no.
That's down the leg side. It's going to be a wide. Is it going to be a wide?
Silsden.
No.
Silsden's a nice spot. Family used to live there.
There's a little village on the hill where the church is. Is it called Kildwick?
That rings a bell.
Where the canal goes through. We were on a canal boat holiday a few years ago. We moored there one night on the way down towards the Bingley Five Rise and ended up there the next night. Jones going to try and pull this one through the leg side. He's not connected with it well. It's just one run. Durham struggling to time the ball here. And in comparison to how well timed the Yorkshire attack was with the bat, looking at this, they're worlds apart here at the moment. And Durham stuttering along on 37 for 1 after 5. Yorkshire was 66 for none. And this already at this point in time looks like a massive job now from the home team.
So you went to Silsden on the Monday, you went to Kildwick on the Tuesday. Take us through the rest of your
No, they were different trips, because we used to go down there a lot, because my mother-in-law lived in Skipton, so we were down there. I think we ended up in Silsden that afternoon because my wife's gran might have been in hospital there for a period of time. But the boating holiday was September time. It would have been, I'll tell you when it was. It was the week when England beat Germany 5-1 in.
Jordan Thompson in for over number 6 and bowling here to Jones, who's turned that out to mid-wicket. And there's been a bit of a miss.
Sloppy.
Yep. It was wide of Kola Cadmore, who got something on it, but it was diverted past Jack Shutt, and it's Shadab who's gone out to do the cleaning up, and they've got 2 runs that they shouldn't have had there. So 3 in total. Robinson on 6 is back on strike. Jones moves on to 24 off 17, getting appreciably brighter now. There's a bit more of a break in that cloud.
Yeah, it's nice now.
The cloud just looks like somebody's having a massive barbecue, and it's drifting across the top of the ground at the moment as Thompson's in, and that's pinged out towards Revis at point. There's no run. 40 for 1 then the score. 3 dot in this over, and don't forget this is the final over of the power play, and after that Yorkshire were 79 without loss. But don't forget, Durham did drag it back in the second half of the Yorkshire's innings, so you can't say these games are done deals, but they wouldn't want to lose a few wickets at this stage. Thompson was short of length, banged it into the pitch. Robinson didn't time his pull shot particularly well and pulled it straightish. No run. So 40 for 1 remains the score. 3 dot dot. Thompson coming in once again, right arm over. It's a good length ball flicked, in fact full length ball flicked off his legs to mid wicket this time by Robinson. 7 from 8 for him. 41 for 1.
Yeah, it was Kildwick Village. It was September 2001, so on the Saturday at the end of that week England beat Germany 5-1. Was it in Munich or Berlin? I can't remember.
I don't know. I remember watching it though.
Yeah.
As Thompson's in, beats Jones, who just gave himself a little bit of room outside the leg stump to try and find the offside. Good piece of bowling from Jordan Thompson.
So we went to the White Lion in the middle of the week, and we watched whatever was the penultimate World Cup qualifier that year. I can't remember who they were playing in that little village, and then because at that game when they lost, when they won 5-1, they actually went to goal down after about the first 5 minutes.
Thompson in again, and Jones giving himself room. Good piece of bowling again. Follows the batsman, who can then only turn it out to mid-wicket for a single. Michael Jones against right-arm fast medium. He's got a good record, so should be comfortable enough. 148 he strikes at. It's the end of that Thompson over and the end of the power play, and Durham are a fair way behind where Yorkshire were, because they are 42 for the loss of 1 compared to that 79 without loss for Yorkshire at the same stage.
And if we compare run rates on that, Yorkshire went at 13.1 in their power play, and in comparison Durham are at 7s.
What are you saying at this point then, Coach? If you were getting a message out to the 2 batters out there in the middle?
Yeah, my message would be to hit the sweepers hard, good strong shots, see if you can build a partnership, take the game as deep as you can, look for 2 big overs as you get into probably over 15, 16, and stay in the game. and then the momentum and pressure transfers the other way.
Who's this bowling now? Sean should have switched ends.
Yeah, that's right, yes, yeah.
First ball bowled back to him. This one's out through the covers for 1 run. Weird sky now.
Yeah.
Because it's like a laser beam shining in our eyes at the moment, but all of the ground is in shade.
Martin Emerson, BBC Radio 4.
Again. Bowler comes in, right arm over, an attempted paddle round the corner, reverse paddle, played and missed.
DLS at this stage reckons that Durham should be 57.
Yeah.
So they're behind on that front as well, and that's of
never
course
got going here, have they?
That's of course considering Yorkshire's full 20 overs.
Now that's up in the air, slog sweep out towards deep square leg, 1 run for Robinson.
I think the point to make though in Durham's favour is how they pulled back the game.
Yeah.
Or Yorkshire's innings. You know, in the last 5 or 6 overs they got very much back into that game. I know their start hasn't been as good as Yorkshire's, but if they can gather momentum.
Oh, that's a nice pull shot off the back foot from Jones, and he's launched that over long on for 6. Wasn't a particularly high shot, it just had length on it, didn't it, really?
Yeah, yeah.
They need more of those though. 50 runs in 6.5. What was Yorkshire? 3.3, wasn't it?
So, well, basically twice as long.
Yeah.
Just shy of 1 ball delivery of twice as long.
Bowler once again. Oh, it's a medium pace half tracker, that one, and it's dragged away by Jones down towards Lythe, who comes in from long on to field it just on the discs at mid on, really. Is that the end of the over already? Wow.
Yep.
God, he got through that quickly.
10 from it.
6. It's a score now, 52 for 1.
Just looking at the run rates.
Durham are nearly 40 behind. They're 39 behind now.
Current run rate 7.4. Required run rate it's 11.5 if my eyes are working reasonably well, which they don't often, but I think in this case the required run rate is in fact 11.5.
I don't know, lad, you've got a cracking pair of eyes. Beautiful and blue. Like limpid pools. Jonathan Doidge, BBC Radio 4. Jack Shutt is going to bowl, and he's bowling it off spin and does his little stepping run up. It's almost like he's got one of those rope ladders on the deck when they're doing a warm up for a gym session. He steps through the little rungs. It was a dot ball first up. Robinson trying to use his feet and get him away, but couldn't. He used his feet a second time and thought he bowled him then for a moment. It was actually the ball bouncing back off TKC's glove. So Jack Shutt, well, what memories he's got of playing here.
I don't think he'll remember it.
Brilliant first night, 5 for 11, and who knows, there could be a run out here. He was fielding off his own bowling. They've taken him on because the pressure's already building after 2 dots, and they've got a single, scrappy one at that.
They're the best figures by anybody against Durham, 5 for 11. Was it his debut?
Yes, it was. I think. If it wasn't, it might have been his second match, something like that. But it was very early on, anyway.
His debut was against Lancashire.
Yeah. Oh yes, I remember that one now. He's got him as well. He's struck again at the Riverside. Jack Shutt, 4th delivery, and Jones stepping away to try and cut. And Jack Shutt has been on the money from ball 1 here. 2 dots, a scrambled single, and now he's bowled him. So 1 for 1 off 4 deliveries. Great
breakthrough for the Vikings. Shutt really does like this ground. He likes playing here, and as I say, a good breakthrough. Jones has gone. He's played pretty well though, hasn't he, Marty? Jones has played okay.
He went for...
Right, here's Ashton Turner.
He went for 34 off 24 deliveries, including 2 4s and 2 6s. So Ashton Turner, who I'm not familiar with from previous matches between the two sides.
He's the Perth Scorchers skipper. Won the Big Bash this year, but didn't play at Headingley because he dislocated his shoulder a few days earlier. So
yeah, so I'm a time or two in the Big Bash. Has he just signed for this comp?
Yeah.
Yep. Okay. So Michael Jones gone. 53 for the loss of 2, and that is 7.4 overs in. Partnership for the second wicket, 30. And another dot ball shut this time to Turner. Robinson's had a look, hasn't he? 13 deliveries for 9. You wouldn't want to lose him now, having been out there and got some semblance of an idea of how the pitch is playing. DLS reckons they should be 73. They're 53 for 2. Oh, and that would have been a cracking catch by Harry Brook at extra cover. A sort of flat bat swat really from Turner, hit it on the rise, and so shut expensive off his final ball because he's gone for 2. 1 for 3 from his first over. A good return to the Riverside for Jack Shutt.
Excellent return, isn't it? He, as we said before, he likes bowling here, but that's a big breakthrough for the Vikings. It just gets Yorkshire again. It just pulls back that little bit of momentum that Durham were just beginning to get together. Were just beginning to increase that run rate. Run rate's up to above 12s now, and how quickly in T20 cricket that just a couple of dot balls really increases that required run rate. So 2 Durham batters will be just feeling that at this point in time, be wanting to knock the ball around, and as you said, Martin, earlier, they're going to have to strike the ball.
This is a leading edge, but it's away safely over the bowler, down to lie that long on. They better get back quickly here for 2, or the bowler doesn't collect the ball back from Lyth. Durham 55 for 2 after 8. Yorkshire 104.
Edward Harland says, great comms and double act. As a Yorkshire City supporter, please do not mention Luton Town FC. Wasn't David Taylor the Silver Fox many moons ago? He was, wasn't he? Remember the old Pot Black?
Sweep.
Shot.
Oh, reverse sweep. Good diving stop with backward point there.
Ben Senior says, Jonathan, Marty asked earlier if there was anyone in Otley. I can confirm that not only are there people here, but some of us are enjoying the comms this evening.
Good. In comes Khan, and playing a miss from Robinson as he looks to cut. My father-in-law lives on the hill up on Otley as you go out up over towards Blubber Houses.
Okay.
He's just got a cracking view up there looking back over towards the Chevin.
Yeah, nice spot.
Bowler comes in, he tries to sweep again. He's edged it over the top of the keeper and down to the discs behind him for 1.
Ben goes on, if possible, a shout out to my brother Ed, who's also in Otley listening, and best wishes to him and his wife Amelia on the birth of their baby son Barnaby. Congratulations from all of us. Well, thanks for the excellent coverage. Hope the rain stays away, and fingers crossed for a Vikings victory. That's Ben Senior in Otley. Up there on the other week on Surprise View. Great place. Fantastic view.
Played out towards the offside by Turner. Quick single. It was risky, but he got there. Where's that, up on the Chevin or not?
Yeah.
Yeah. I was on the Chevin to watch the Tour de Yorkshire about 3 years ago. Massive crowds there that day.
Popped into the Chevin pub afterwards?
I didn't. I
No, I did.
I drove to. Oh, you did. I drove to Leeds because we played Yorkshire the next day. Bowler comes in and bowls. Turned away through mid-wicket. 4-2 for Robinson. Throw at the stumps misses from Bess at the bowler's end. And 9 overs are gone now. Durham 61 for 2 compared to 107 for 1.
I don't know about a double act in the commentary box. Penny's got her own solo comedy act on BBC West Yorkshire Sport at gmail.com. She entitled her latest email, Shut, double T up. Yay.
That had already gone through my head, but I decided not to say it because I thought it was quite obvious.
I know 1 or 2 commentators are a bit nervous when Jack Shutt comes on to bowl in case they get their vowels mixed up. Here is Jack Shutt, and he's got underneath this one, chance of a catch, and gone. Turner is out, caught at long off, and my mince pies are not good enough to pick up who that is. It could well be Will Frayne.
Not at the races here, Durham.
He's a long way away down the far end of the ground, and I think it might well be Will. Very safe pair of hands. and Turner gone for 3.
Shut again with a breakthrough. Turner's come down the pitch, not quite got there. His intention there is to hit it over long off. It's a good strike if you do that, but you've got to ensure that you get right to the pitch of the ball. But unfortunately for Turner and for Durham, he's not quite managed to get that, and he's gone for 3, caught, frame, ball shut.
See, there's no wrong with my eyes, is there? 3 or 4 in 5. How about that? I wish it was all as simple as that. Ned Eckersley, the new man in. And a bit of Eckers-like for Durham at the moment at 61 for 3. Robinson got a big job to do now. He's got himself in. Jack Shutt having another cracking night of things here at the Riverside. Well, it is in white ball cricket, just to have a field this big is a bit of a spinner's dream, isn't it? Because so many times you see boundaries brought in, balls doing nothing for them. So at least he's got a bit of room to work with here. And Eckersley tries a reverse sweep. First up, chance for a run out. Yorkshire beginning to celebrate, but there is no raising of the finger by, I think it's James Middlebrook at this end. Again, hard to tell under the lights. No bins here tonight. Emma will be able to tell us.
What's that?
Who the umpire at this end is. I think it's James Middlebrook.
James Middlebrook's at this end and Graham Lloyd's at the other end.
Just looking at recognising the run as he dashes off to square leg. Here's Shutt. Now that's a slog sweep played quite nicely. It was aerial for a while. Thompson fields at square leg and they'll pick up a single. So Jack Shutt, as they go to the halfway stage here, is keeping things tight and giving an onerous task to anybody who comes out to bat in the rest of this match. For Durham, Eckersley is just having a look and playing himself in, and he may cut loose. He's 2 from 2 now. He's just working a single out to mid-wicket. As Marty suggested, the sky's a bit bizarre, and it's a bit of a feeling of change overhead, but it's that horrible light that you've got at the moment. Bright sunshine or shadow. Difficult out there when you're fielding or probably batting as well. As we see Robinson work 2 through straight mid-wicket. Shutt wicket 1-1-1-2 in this the 10th over. So doing a really good job here in the middle part of the innings for Yorkshire is the off spinner, and another appeal for LBW here to another attempted sweep, this time by Robinson. He's not got a good contact on it. In fact, he got no contact on it with the bat. And that's the end of another very good over by Jack Shutt. And Durham at the end of it, the halfway stage. Well, Yorkshire were 118 for 1, Durham 66 for 2, and it is Shawsey. As we were saying when there were the moans and groans coming in about Yorkshire's innings petering out, it just shows you, doesn't it, if you execute your plans pretty well with the ball like Yorkshire seem to be doing. They've only conceded double-figure runs in 2 overs in that first 10. Then you can limit the opposition on this pitch.
Yeah, absolutely. It's about bowling good areas and just taking the pace off and bowling hard into the pitch is key. But what Durham are trying to do now is hit the corners, the pockets of the ground as we talk about, and trying to rotate strike and pick up twos and build this partnership and take it as deep as they possibly can. It is an uphill battle at this point in time, but who knows if this partnership can build and build and build. You just never know.
Need 135 more to win, and there's another attempted reverse sweep which doesn't quite come off. It will go for a single down to third man. The first ball from Khan in this over went for 1 out to mid-wicket. Well, where's the DLS? 98, does that say? Durham is 68 for 3. I know. My maths isn't even good enough to work out how many runs behind they are on the end of the over comparison. It's a single there for Eckersley. 66, 34, 44, 62 runs behind. Is that right?
Yeah, so far, and that is just so far because there's still more to come, but Yorkshire's bowling performance all round has been appreciably better than in a lot of the matches they've played in so far this year.
Leading edge doesn't quite carry the point, 1 run to Robinson. The Durham bowling obviously wasn't very good at the start, and it didn't really get good until about 15 overs, by which point Yorkshire were relaxing a bit because they got such a cracking start under their belts. But Durham are now making this look like it's a minefield when they're batting out there. It's as if we're watching two completely different games here. This is pushed back up towards the bowler's end, no run.
But I think Yorkshire are genuinely, I mean, they're not only bowling the slower bowlers, but they're also taking the pace off the slow ball.
Yeah.
They're making Durham have to work the ball around. And when you got that good start from your seamer, we were saying, you know, the two Durham seamers went for runs. Dom Leach bowled really well in those first 2 overs from this end.
Yeah. Played by Eckersley out through mid-wicket. It doesn't see, if they start going for runs, the Durham quicks, and they're just banging in these short balls, hoping to bang it in short and quick and hoping for edges, and they get carted around the park, and there doesn't seem to be a point where they think to themselves, this isn't working, we need to go to plan B. You know, and I've seen this going on for 20 years in T20.
So end of the over, 71 for 3. That's after 11 now. Just 5 runs from that one as well. And you know, the way things are working out, and you never want to call these games too soon. We've seen it here before. I think Yorkshire won a game first season we were on together up here, Marty, where I think we just thought it was a done deal that Durham were going to win it, and then they got a few wickets. I think that was a shut night, wasn't it?
I think you might have thought it was a done deal.
That was a pull to mid-wicket by Eckersley for a single, so 72 for 3. Best bowling this 12th over. So again, spin back on. And in he comes again. A reverse sweep attempt by Robinson. Missed.
He's tried that. How many times has he tried that shot?
It's not working,
now?
Is it? So
it's not worked.
Think about something else.
Yeah. Where's plan B?
Bess again. Over the wicket. Bowling to Robinson, who's 19 off 24. And he's got this away to long on for what's going to just be the single. So Dom Leach 2 overs, Matthew Revis 1 over, Jordan Thompson 1 over. So in the first 12 we've seen just 4 overs of seam, and this is the 8th over of spin. And they're going to have to bowl some seam at some point, but if they've got themselves so far ahead of the game at that point, then it might get away with that. Now then, pull shot here, Jordan Thompson tries the catch. That's a brilliant fielding effort from Thompson. He was clearly going to go back over the rope. He just couldn't help himself had he taken the catch. He's going to get some congratulations from one of his colleagues out there because that was an excellent effort to flick it back in from, well, saving a 6. And they got 2 in the process. Oh, was it 1? It was 2.
Was it Eckersley who was on strike?
74.
They got 1.
They just got the 1. Yeah, 74 for 3. Make that 75 because Robinson's just pushed one up to.
Stopped 5 runs there.
Lythe.
Behind him is where the boundary rope tapers round into a V, so he had just an extra yard of area to work with behind him there.
Best then. Last ball of the over. Another attempted reverse sweep, this time by Eckersley. None for 15 off 2 for Bess. 75 for 3 off 12 overs.
We hear a lot, don't we, about bowlers executing their skills and holding their nerve under pressure, etc., etc. But in essence, what that means is the Yorkshire bowlers certainly so far in this game have been able to master or hold their lines, hold their lengths and bowl the right pace for this pitch, and at times have taken the pace off. So in terms of execution of skills, have pretty much done what the coaches would have asked them to do, but it's maintaining that throughout the innings, and at certain times this season that has been a challenge for the Vikings, hasn't it? So I know it's an uphill challenge at this point in time for Durham, but Yorkshire, it's important that no momentum is shifted across to Durham. They've got to hold their lines and lengths.
Revis, right arm over. Oh, and that's whacked Robinson in the box, and he's gone over. And he could be lying there for a period of time. We could hear that from here.
Oh dear me, I've got tears in my eyes.
Yeah. Oh, are you dancing with them in your eyes?
Take a few deep breaths, son.
Yeah.
And then a few more.
Yep. And then just when you think you've taken enough, take a few more again, because that's the moment.
That's the moment when you're violently sick.
There we go, there he is. That's his 3rd round of deep breaths.
Oh, awful to see that.
Oh.
Can he produce the same ball?
Revis again. That's up in the air. That's a big shot from Ollie Robinson. That was powered by Payne and Anger, wasn't it? That's gone for 6 into the back of the lower tier of the County Durham stand.
Wow.
If you pull off about another 10 more of those, Durham might get back into this game.
He's just woken him up as Rev, and he's getting angry now.
Don't poke a bear with a stick.
Don't poke the bear.
Look, he's still bent double now after hitting the 6. I'm not sure that's going to ease the pain too much.
He got 56 against Yorkshire down in Headingley, which is his best score in a T20. 81 for 3, 121 more needed. Pulls this out towards deep mid-wicket for 1.
Joe Smith advises that you're allowed to take your tie off today at Ascot because of the heat. They announced that just before the last race yesterday, that they would relax the dress code today because it was going to be 30 degrees.
I saw on the news last night, I think ITV were there, and they were doing the weather from the parade ring, but they were... this is a big toe up into the air from Eckersley. Where's that gone? It's gone away down towards the third man area for 2. There were massive buckets of water to try and keep the horses cool yesterday.
Yep, they usually have them there. Even Grand National Day, the lads of those. Jan says, come on, even Wikipedia has it correct. Middlesbrough is a town in North Yorkshire.
It's not. Hasn't been in Yorkshire since the 70s. Baller comes in, and this is lobbed up towards mid-on by Eckersley for 1. Martin Atkinson says this is a limp response. Really expected more than this. The rate was nearly 10 and over, and they're pushing singles.
Martin Bloomfield says, continuing the Morgan Wise theme, in respect of Durham's batting, what do you think of it so far?
Driven back past the bowler here. He just couldn't grab that one. He was at full stretch to his left. Robinson with the shot, and that 13 overs gone at 86 for 3 and another 116 needed.
Andy Walker says, really great to hear you and Martin speak about my hometown Silsden. Come on, Cobbydale.
Has he been in that pub at Kildwick? Quite a nice little pub that. You come down the lane past the church. Presume it's still there. Tony says, crikey, I've been working and not been able to follow tonight's match until now. Are the teams batting in different hemispheres to each other?
Yeah, well, that was a good over, in fact, by Durham standards in the innings. 9 from it, from that Revis over. So over number 14 is going to be bowled here by Dom Bess, who's bowling to Robinson, who can do no more than flick this away to mid-wicket. They've got 1. They're not going to get 2 because the Yorkshire fielder out there, who is difficult to identify in this light, bright sunlight and shadow, and he's in the shadowy bit.
After 13 overs, Durham is 63 behind where Yorkshire were.
It's a lot to make up when you don't have Tim David playing for you. Best in. Now then, that's lofted up in the air out into the covers, and is a very simple catch indeed, taken by Harry Brook. And Ned Eckersley has perished now. 10 runs for him from 12 deliveries, and Durham at 87 for the loss of 4 wickets.
It's certainly the spin and taking pace off that's doing the damage here for the Vikings, as that ball's taken quite comfortably there at extra cover by Brook, and it certainly does look an uphill struggle for Durham at the moment. Yorkshire will be happy so far. 13 overs gone, score 87 for 4.
2 balls into the 14th over. 17 the partnership worth. The last 2 wickets have both been worth that, but they've not built anything sizeable yet, have they? 23, 30, 17 and 17 the 4 partnerships. Steve Milner says, evening chaps, watching on YouTube while I cool off after it's easy for you to say, after a rather warm couple of days out pounding the pavements. Great to see the young and old combining for Yorkshire for what's turning into a decent season so far. Keep up the good work, fellas. As here comes Bess again, and this time to Coghlan.
Partnership was 26 there.
Dropped it out onto the leg side, and there's no run. 70 for 3 to 87 for 4.
No, there was 61 for 3, weren't there?
In comes Bess again, an attempt at a reverse sweep by Coghlan. And another dot, so another couple of balls chewed up. Chris Whitaker says it's a confidence game. Young and hungry Yorkshire side well up for it. There's going to be a fielding change here. Shadab has been brought across to the offside. They've pulled round Leach.
There was 61 for 3 and 87 for 4.
And here comes Bess again.
Oof.
And
Is that gone?
Coghlan has been bowled, playing a big slog out towards long on, and Bess has 2 wickets in an over. He's getting an opportunity tonight, and he's showing us what he can do. 2 for him, and 87 for the loss of 5.
Well bowled by Bess. He's held his line, held his length, just a little bit of spin on that one. The pitch is just beginning to spin a little bit, and Coghlan won't be happy with his contribution this evening, certainly with the bat. It's dismissed by Bess for none, and the score is 87 for 5.
Yeah, my apologies, Mr. Emerson. I don't know why I'd written down 70 for 3, but I did. But you were spot on. It was 61 for 3.
Was it not the end of the over tallies?
Maybe I've written, duplicated something. Any road like Ben Rain is the new man in.
Doesn't really matter anyway, does it?
No, it's just nice to be accurate, though, isn't it? Or else we could sit here going Durham are 178 for 6 with 6 overs to go. Well, they're not, honestly, it's not. Round the wicket, Bess here bowling to the left-handed Rain, who works it into the onside, and Bess fields off his own bowling, and they get a single. So 1 off as many for him. Coghlan was none off 3. It was a short stay at the crease for Paul Coghlan, and that is the end of Bess's over, and 3 overs, 2 for 17 for him. He's a very good return so far. And look, Shawsey, you've seen a few games. I know Katie's seen a few games with me, Katie Levick. Hi Lev, if you're listening in. I think the criticism of Yorkshire in the games they've lost has largely been the bowling. Last week they went down to Birmingham. We talked about the poor away record as well. They went down there last week and hammered Birmingham Bears and bowled really well, and tonight they're doing so again on the back of a good performance with the bat.
Absolutely, and bang in the middle of that's been the county championship game as well, so there's been very little time to transition back into T20 cricket, but their away form in recent times has been exceptional.
This is launched downfield for 6 by Rain. Off shut, straight back over his head.
Yeah, it's a good strike there. He's just given himself the base. Shuts just over pitched that ball just a little bit, and Rain's been able to get his hands through the ball, strike the ball down the ground, straight as it comes for 6 runs.
What were you saying about that bowling performance?
108 needed to win now. Shut round the wicket. Rain lobs it over the top of the bowler down towards long on for 1.
They've got to expect some of this. Anyway, it's T20 cricket. They're playing against a team who want to win, and win or lose, Durham will just want to get as many as they can, net run rates and all of that. So there still might be a bit of bish bash bosh about it, but it's a heck of a task, isn't it, to get 19 and over.
This is a big one.
It's a big hit.
That's a big hit. Where's that gone to? Oh, it's bounced onto the sheeting in the lower tier of the County Durham stand and shot up the back of the stand. Where's it gone? Disappeared. Has it got
just to the left?
Stuck in the middle, is it?
To the left of the big sheet.
All right. 100 runs for Durham, 14.3 overs.
Wonderful strike.
Yorkshire was 7.5 overs to get to that stage.
Yeah, great strike there from Robinson. He's come down the pitch and launched that ball over what you'd say is probably a deep mid-wicket area into the lower tier at the stand.
Yep, good shot. Shutt's got it wrong a couple of times in the over. It's a good experience. He's got to learn then, hasn't he? He got 5 for 11 up here before, 2 for 21 now, off 2.5 overs. And what can he do? How can he bring this back in the final 3 balls of the over?
Here's the first of those 3. And that's another big high hit, and that's going to be 6 more. The ground staff are running out the road as the ball lands on a set of covers just behind them. Well, if nothing else, Robinson's trying to restore a bit of pride for Durham here. He's just hit 3 sixes in 4 ball. Well, no, there's been 3. There was the first one was rain. He's then hit. There was a single, and he's hit 2. But 3 sixes in 4 balls from the over. That's going to go out towards deep mid wicket for 2. Throw back in from Bess out in the deep.
So the ball that went for 6 again, he dragged it down just a little bit too short, and he gave the batsman some time to work with, didn't he?
He did. How he gets out the overs now is important, isn't it?
Oh, this is up in the air. He's going to be caught at backward point. There we go. That's the end of Robinson for 44, having made 56 against Yorkshire a few weeks ago. Durham is 6 down at 109.
And Robinson 44 off 35, I think, in the end.
Yeah, it was a good over though from Robinson. He's tried to change the momentum of the game and get them back into this game. The boundaries that he struck really cleanly and well in that over just gave them that little bit more momentum. But unfortunately for Durham, Shutt then responds well, holds his line, holds his length, and gets the wicket of Robinson, who I think's played pretty well this evening.
How many balls was it after Yorkshire got their 100 on the board?
Yorkshire were 7.5. They were, they were 105 before they lost the first wicket. So I think there, partly Ollie Robinson maybe getting a little bit carried away with himself, having hit the 6s, but also credit to Jack Shutt, because he'd just been whacked for 21 in an over. He had it good in his first 2, and at the end of the day he's still got his wicket, so it cost a few, but the man who'd been in for a while is out, and it's still a significant moment in the match, I suppose, as Bess is bowling here to Rain, who's worked out into the leg side, and they get a single.
I'm just looking at the largest margins of defeat for Durham, and it's 79 runs by Leicestershire in 2006, so they've got to be careful there, because this could be a record for them, an unwanted record.
Bess round the wicket, bowls that side arm delivery, and he's been played very nicely here round the corner by Liam Travaskis, who was the new man in, and he's off the mark with 4 runs first ball, round wide through long leg.
Travaskis played that well. He's just shuffled across his crease. It's pretty full. He's just managed to be able to get it past short fine leg and into the boundary area here. It's a good shot just to the right of our commentary box.
So Bess going round the wicket in again, and that's flicked off the legs along the deck this time by Travaskis. Revis coming in from mid wicket will keep them to 1.
Dave McCall's emailed. He says, I respect Paul Shaw for his uber impartiality, but a lot of us have seen this recurring nightmare in T20 for 2 decades, he says.
Best then to Rain, who's on 9 off 4. Round the wicket to the left-hander, who pulls that, and he gives a real kitchen sink job. And along the deck to Revis again. Single to him takes them to 116 for 6. So first half of the innings they scored 4, then 11, 8, 9, 5, 5, 10, 3, 6 and 5. And they've not come home that much better, have they? Here's Bess, and again an attempt to slog that one through mid-wicket by Travaskis is missed. Second half, over 11 they went for 5. Then 4, then 9, then 2, and lost 2 wickets. And then 21 is a bit of left field, isn't it, really? It's out of nothing. And a batsman who'd been in there a long time. Bess with a good end to that over, which Travaskis missed with another attempt to reverse sweep. So 7 from it, but Yorkshire can afford plenty of 7s. They need 21.5 and over here, Durham. And it's Yorkshire's for the taking unless something absolutely drastic goes wrong in these final 24 balls.
Yeah, absolutely. And interestingly enough, 5 of the 6 wickets taken this evening from the Yorkshire attack is from spin, which we talked about, didn't we, earlier on, the importance of spin perhaps this evening. And both teams have had 3 spinners, 3-4 spinners in each team. So 5 of the 6 wickets have been taken by spin in this Yorkshire bowling attack.
And best 4 overs, no maidens, 2 for 24 he completes. That'll be up there among his best figures. Just have a look at that, in fact, while Marty takes over for this next one. Jordan Thompson coming in.
Thompson, none for 5 earlier, right arm over, and an inside edge down towards fine leg by Rain. I don't think I've written Thompson in my scorecard.
How can you miss the man that makes things happen?
Well, he's twice had his career best figures against Durham, hasn't he, Jordan Thompson? With the ball. He had 4 for 32 this year and 4 for 44 last year.
Don Best, by the way, has 3 for 17 is his best, so it's not his best tonight, but it's up there.
This is flicked away by Travaskis towards deep square leg, 4-2. Don Best, what have I got written down on my... 3 for 17 against North Hants in 2021. He's also taken 3 for 21 against Derbyshire and Lancashire last year. It's that Devon upbringing. And all that cider in Somerset. 119 for 6, 83 to win Durham. Travaskis plays and misses at this one. It's gone between him and leg stump and through to the keeper. Powered by pain and anger, says Jay. Will that be your new tattoo? That was after that 6, wasn't it, from Robinson earlier. Chris says this is abysmal. He's referring to the cricket, I think, rather than the commentary.
Simon McIntyre, still stuck in Kent, says, I'm surprised Marty didn't mention that St Andrew's, Kildwick, was reputedly the longest parish church in England.
Oof, didn't know that. This is played out through the cover area for 1 run by Travaskis, right off the toe of the bat, the longest.
Yeah, he says, I only know this as my prep school, Malsis, at nearby Cross Hills, held our carol service there each year. Apart from myself, another great Malsis alumnus is one George Hill.
Thompson. Oh, this is up in the air, and Rain hasn't got hold of it, and he should be caught here. He is. He's being caught at mid-off, and Durham are now 120 for 7. This is a dreadful response, absolutely awful, to Yorkshire's 201, and this is like watching 2 completely different games. Rain has gone, and he's out there for, what did he make? 11. Catch by
Harry Brook.
Harry Brook,
yeah. Brook's taking the catch off Thompson. Thompson taking a wicket there, and yeah, it's a tough watch, isn't it, for the Durham faithful, certainly this evening. And
I say this regularly, but you just never know which Durham team's going to turn up.
Well, I think Yorkshire supporters would say the same about Yorkshire.
Well, last year Durham got off to a decent start. They won 4 of the first 5. I think the other one was rained off at Headingley, and then they lost 7 of the last 8 or something. So add in what's gone on this season, I think they've lost something like 13 out of 16 matches. This is played out through. This is Bushnell on debut, played out into the covers for 1. As a contest, it just isn't one. That's the other thing, it's just unbelievably one-sided. 81 to win from 3 overs.
It's a good one to win, as we say down a little bit further south. It sure is a good one to win. So
Durham are 121 for 7 after 17 overs. Yorkshire were 173 for 5.
And it's going to be a change of ends for Jack Shutt. He's back at the end from which he had success, or more success, in his first 2 overs. Over the wicket, bowling here to Bushnell, who works it up to long on. They've got 1. Well, there was a bit of support from Travaskis running the first one hard, but they didn't really look like they were taking it on.
Shutt on the hunt for his 4th wicket. Must love this ground. Must absolutely love it here.
Shut then again, and he got his fourth wicket because that's been scooped onto his stumps by Travaskis, trying to play a reverse scoop hopelessly, really, to be honest. And a fourth wicket for Jack Shutt. Well, maybe Durham will be, I don't know, locking him out in future matches up here. Sorry, son, you can't come in here. You haven't got the right pass, because he's had a 5-foot and now a 4-foot and still bowling. Travaskis gone, bowled Shutt for 8 off as many deliveries, and Durham 122 for 8. Cue for Shawsey to talk.
Yes, I'm just looking at the scoreboard. As you say, 122 for 8, and Shutt already has got his fourth wicket in his final over, and we're looking to match that fine performance of the other year with 5-4, and he's still got a number of balls left in this over. In fact, still got 4 balls left to get his 5th wicket, and there's no doubt he's got the bit between the teeth, and that's where he's after his 5th wicket.
Here he is then, bowling to Borthwick, pushes up to long off, and we'll get a single for it. But what a collapse by Durham, and I think it's fair to say that so far, and with not long to go, it's been a very fine all-round performance by Yorkshire tonight, up there with what they produced at Birmingham last week, as Bushnell pushes 2 wide of Adam Lyth at long on. And it's just a matter of damage limitation. As I was saying, talk about net run rates. It's still worth Durham trying to add as many as they can in his last 14 balls. Shutt in. Nicely timed this one by Bushnell out into the covers, but no further than Revis, who keeps them to 1.
Yeah, it was the partnership earlier on in the day between Lyth and Allen that really set the scene. A partnership of 105. Phenomenal power play, and first 10 really set this game up for Yorkshire Vikings.
Here is a nicely played lofted drive by Borthwick for 1 down to long off, so end of the over. 127 for the loss of 8 wickets, just 6 off the over by Jack Shutt to finish, and he's finished with 4 overs
for 35.
4 overs for 35, and let's not forget the 4 wickets. 4 overs, no maidens, 4 for 35, I think, these figures. And just looking elsewhere, Marty, because we've not mentioned any scores from elsewhere tonight. We never get time, do we, in these matches? But Leicestershire in the bottom of the table battle have beaten Worcestershire. A low-scoring affair down at Grace Road. 116 for 9 Worcestershire. Leicester 118 for 2. Won it with 47 balls remaining. 12.1 overs to knock them off. The Bears smashed 261 for 2 at Trent Bridge. And Nottinghamshire need 90 off 31 balls to win that, with just 5 wickets remaining. Northants have beaten Lancashire as well. Interesting. So they're level now at the top on points, but Lancs retain top spot on net run rate. Opportunity here then for Yorkshire if they win this.
Leach to start the penultimate over. This is lobbed out towards long leg. 1 bounce off Borthwick. Brings Bushnell on to strike on 5. The tweets coming in from Durham fans are all of a similar nature. Rich says, we are embarrassingly poor. The bowling and the batting. This sort of bowling and batting has become the norm. Mark says, this is one of the poorest 2020 replies I've ever seen. And after the Lancashire game, what a letdown. Cian Perlo says, how long before the club tried to be competitive in this competition? Yet another embarrassing night in it, he says.
And in context, as I was saying, if Yorkshire win this, it looks like the Bears are going to win anyway, but there'll be 4 teams starting to break away, and then given that Yorkshire at Chesterfield, which is a bit of a Derbyshire at Chesterfield, Yorkshire's nemesis tomorrow, but if they could win that, you don't want to get too far ahead of yourselves and all that, do you, coaches? But if they could win that, then yeah.
Leach with a full toss to Bushnell, played up to mid-on. Chris says a slightly early finish should allow you to get a round of golf in before dusk. Yeah. Why don't we?
I might get in bed before midnight.
4 days before winter's on the way, lads.
That'd be a bonus.
Yeah.
Did I mention I'd driven 6 hours
You
already
never
today?
mentioned it, no. All I can remember is the VIP treatment you had at the Royal Ascot yesterday.
Oh, that was fantastic.
Yeah.
6 hours.
129 for 8. Oh, something's put the batsman off. He steps away. Still counting players, I think. Well, there's still moving players around here.
305 miles, did it? No, 400. I don't know what it was. 305 miles.
Ascot to here would be...
I wasn't at Ascot though. I left Cobham this morning.
It's Cobham further out.
Went home to Leeds, then had to get myself from there up here. So it's 305 miles, 6 hours.
129 for 8. 73 to win from 10 balls. Playing a miss. Leach bowling here to Borthwick, who's on 3. Sun just starting to dip down behind the pavilion now.
Always worth it, of course, to come and join you two on comms. Lee Palmer says, great comms, JD, between you and Marty. Always look forward to you and Marty together. Best double act since the Chuckle Brothers.
Which one's which? Am I going to be the one with the moustache?
To you, to me, to you.
This is where you say they both have moustaches, isn't it?
Well, sadly, we lost one, didn't we?
Yeah. Leach to Borthwick. Full toss. Borthwick plays it out through deep mid-wicket for 2. We should come back for 2. There was, again, Bushnell slipping over. I think he needs a new pair of spikes. He's checking the bottoms of his shoes now. Has he got spikes on? Or? Yeah, he has.
Martin Bloomfield says, just looked at the Chesterfield forecast for tomorrow. Grim in block capitals.
Yeah.
May end in a 5-over slogathon or even a no result. Will 1 point be enough for Yorkshire to progress? Don't think so. Still enough games left.
It's quite a few to come yet, isn't it? This is match number 9, is it?
Yeah. We were sort of talking before tonight,
5
thinking
games
3 more wins for Yorkshire out of the last, is it 6? Probably should do quarterfinals.
Leach in and Borthwick thinks about a hook shot and then changes his mind and leaves it. Well, they reckon if you win 7, you're going to be there or thereabouts. So this is going to be win number 5 for Yorkshire. Durham, the way things are, Worcestershire are going to keep either Leicestershire or Durham off the bottom at the moment, because Durham have got 6 points from 9 now. Who's won that low-scoring epic?
Leicestershire, so Durham are second bottom, 4 points ahead of Worcester.
There you are then. And the lucky thing from a Durham point of view this year is they don't have to go to New Road, where they have lost the last 7. This is flicked off the legs to long leg by Borthwick for 1.
Glad you're looking on the bright side anyway, Marty. That's good to hear.
I worked it out once. Durham have done something like 3,500 miles in trips to New Road in T20 to no avail. 132 for 8 then. And we're into the final over. 70 needed. They were expecting a crowd of around about 6,500 to 7,000 today. They thought possibly at a push maybe 8. And when they get a big crowd in like this and they serve up a performance like this, this is going to put a lot of people off coming back to watch this kind of thing. It's always the big occasions.
And to bowl our final over is Matthew Revis. Russ Harker says, good evening, Mike Chirpers. Russ here in Berlin, where I just explained to my German neighbour that Chester the Street is French for Chester the Street, and if that were in German it would be Chester die Straße. He didn't laugh. Germans don't play cricket.
Yeah. Well, this was named Chester the Street because it was on the street to differentiate from Chester, as in Cheshire.
Revis round the wicket, and that's worked fine. To short third man by Borthwick for a single. Malcolm Palmer, on the dismissal of a certain Ben, sporting number 44 for Durham, said, I can see clearly now that rain has gone. Ba-bum. Penny says, crikey Moses, I think we may have this. Big shout out to Vicky and Lester in Worthing and Phil in Bramley. Also, happy birthday, James. Safe journey home. Sure it won't be 6 hours. Okay. Bushnell on strike, right-handed. 133 for 8. and Revis just getting the field sorted out. And they might as well use this as a practice over at Yorkshire and, you know, work out bowling death over for Matthew Revis. Get your field sorted out. It's a real situation. We know that Yorkshire are going to win the game, but what are you going to try and put into practice that could come into fruition in a future match when you need it? And he's banged that into the pitch. Been pulled for a single out to mid-wicket. Am I
from a
talking
coaching
silly there?
perspective, what you want your team and your players and your captain to play a game within a game. So if the game's won, then how else can we develop those players that we need to in that moment?
You did it. We were just talking about this at Hampshire the other day. Oh, he's got him, has he? No. He's thought he'd yoked him for a moment, then it was the ball, not the bails that were flying around. Dot ball.
Go on.
How is it? Yorkshire people not pronouncing their H's on the front of words and then try to do it but get it on the wrong way around. How is it?
How is it?
How is it?
I do try. I do try.
We all do it. It's funny though, isn't it? Hi, do it myself. Revis is in. He's wide of off stump. And Borthwick has a swing and a miss. 134 for 8. It's a big, crushing win.
They've actually got 3 more runs than they needed to beat Lancashire the other night, as daft as this game is.
And Borthwick pushing one up to mid-off for one off the penultimate ball of the match.
Unless they hit a boundary off this delivery, this will be Durham's 4th heaviest defeat in T20. Nice sky though.
Yeah.
He might be getting another photograph in a few minutes.
Revis in, it's wide, and probably would have been a wide had it not been reached by Bushnell, who was bent double to do so. Single off the last ball out to point. So he finishes on 8. In fact, they both do. And Durham finish on a very, very paltry 136 for 8. So it turns out that all that doom and gloom in the second half of Yorkshire's innings was wasted energy on your typewriters, folks, or your phones, or whatever it was, because they've absolutely annihilated Durham here by 66 runs. Pick the bones out of that one, Shawsey.
Yeah, well, the foundation to the game was the partnership of 105 with Live and Allen. In that power play, they scored 79, and that just set that foundation for Yorkshire to accelerate. Durham came back into the game in the last 5 overs of Yorkshire's innings and just pulled that back a little bit, but the total of 200 was just too much, because when Yorkshire's attack came into the game, the spinners bowled exceptionally well, bowled good areas and controlled those lines and lengths, and the pace bowlers were able to bowl decent areas, took the pace off the ball, and overall a very, very good performance. They would have wanted to accelerate and get around about 220, 225, which would have been 226 would have been a record score here. But they'll be very, very pleased as a whole with their all-round performance this evening.
They certainly will. Let's just go through the...
I just say they needed more, just slightly over 10 and over, about 10.15 and over. They've gone along at 6.8 there.
Yeah.
Never at the races.
It was just...
It's unbelievably one-sided, and it makes it difficult to commentate on, because that ceased being a contest after about 3 or 4 overs of the Durham innings.
Yep. Yep, it was a bit of an insipid sort of chase, wasn't it? Let's go through the Yorkshire bowling figures then. Good night for Dom Leach. It's his second time. I tell you what, they like Dom Leach at Headingley, and I think we're going to see quite a bit more of him in both forms of the game going into the future. He bowls it with pretty good wheels, and he can also get the ball to swing, and that's a good experience for him tonight, isn't it, to stick in the locker. 1 for 17 from 3 overs. Don Bess, 4 overs, no maidens, 2 for 24. Shadab Khan, 4 overs, no maidens, none for 30. Matthew Revis, we've talked about him being 1 for both now and definitely for the future. 3 overs for 20 tonight. Jordan Thompson, 2 overs, no maidens, 1 for 10. and Jack Shutt, 4 overs, no maidens, 4 for 35. Now, I'm going to say this, that I think we're finally seeing Yorkshire starting to execute what they have talked about before they go out to bowl. Their bowlers are starting to do that. And what I also like tonight, really like tonight, is the fact that we saw Durham's slower bowlers be the more difficult ones for Yorkshire to score runs off. And we know Yorkshire still got a big total, having said that, but they were still appreciably more economical than the seam bowlers, Shawsey.
Yep.
And so, having learnt from that, Yorkshire then go out and they bowl best 4 overs, Shadab 4 overs, and Shutt 4 overs. 12 overs out there. And not only that, but adding further to it is that the way they used them and when they used them. So they got themselves in front of the game. They put that pressure on. They stymied any early sort of onslaught from Durham to try and get ahead of the clock by using the slower bowlers. And then I think they slipped in the quicker bowlers. Obviously Leach opened, but barring that, they slipped in the quicker bowlers at various moments in the innings that, you know, where they'd got some control already and sneak them on for an over here and an over there. I really like that tonight. I think that is tactically one of the best performances I've seen from Yorkshire in T20 cricket since I've been sitting in the chair.
Yeah, I think that's a really fair point. And when you look at it from our perspective, you know, sat here seeing the game as we are from this angle, what you're also appreciating is the batters are communicating what the situation is. The batters are communicating what the conditions are like, what are the most difficult bowlers to face, what type of length was difficult to face, and I think being able to communicate that to the batters coming in, but more importantly at the interval with the bowlers and the coaching team, then enables them to strategise on how they're going to go about the business, if you like, in the Durham innings, which they did fantastically well. And as you rightly said, they used the spinners to the best of their abilities in these conditions, and they just worked in the pace bowls in and around that attack of spin, which has proved very beneficial for the Yorkshire Vikings tonight. And what we should also say is they were really well supported in the field, both in the infield and in the outfield. They also stopped a lot of twos, so yeah, a good all-round performance from the Vikings this evening.
And just bearing out what I'm saying in terms of the seamers, Leach bowls overs 1 and 3.
Yeah.
They slipped Jordan Thompson in for the last, well, Rev in for over 5, Jordan Thompson in for over 6. We go back to spin for 5-6 overs. Revis gets another one, and then spin for 3 more overs. Thompson gets another one, Shutt back on, and then Leach and Revis finish off. So they've got a bit of experience bowling at the death as well tonight, 2 young bowlers. So I think it's just a big win for Yorkshire, not only in terms on the scoreboard tonight, but just for learning for the future, because we know that they've got better players to come back into the side when they're available. And some of these players might miss out then, but at least they've had that experience tonight, and when they do need to come back in, they will hopefully be able to build on that. So from Yorkshire's point of view, we'll do the Durham side of things. I know Marty's obviously scathing from what he's been saying, but Yorkshire immediately back on the road tonight, heading down to the Chesterfield area to stay, and then playing there 2:30 Queen's Park tomorrow afternoon. If you're a Yorkshire supporter, do try and get yourself down there, because it'll be worth a watch. It'll be a tough game there. Derbyshire, they've got some very good players at this form of the game. They're maybe just like a lot of sides in that they're not always consistent, but Yorkshire do not win many games at Chesterfield, so don't expect miracles tomorrow. But what you would like to see is that they just go down there and get somewhere near at least backing up this performance and just producing some consistency in this form of the game, and that is where they've been found wanting for a long time.
Yeah, absolutely, and that's what they'll be wanting to do tomorrow. They want to back up this performance with a really strong performance down at Chesterfield, as you rightly said, has often been a banana skin, hasn't it? It's been a difficult place to go for Yorkshire, for the Vikings. There's probably one other point we should mention, that in terms of tactically astute. Remember Harry Brooks captain tonight, hasn't he? You know, so fair play to the coaching team behind the scenes, but also real good credit and fair play to Brookie this evening. And
one other point in terms of that bowling performance is only 3 wides, just 3 extras in the whole night, and again, there's some nights when that's going up into double figures, so they've kept all that. They've given very little away with the ball as well.
Well, from a Durham perspective, I'll leave you with this. That was a 65-run defeat. It equals the defeat by Lancashire here in 2018. Not quite their worst. They lost to Leicestershire by 79 runs here in 2006. 78-run defeat to Nottinghamshire at Trent Bridge last year, and 72 runs by Lancashire at Old Trafford in 2019. I have seen some pretty awful performances from Durham over the years. There's been the odd really good one, and some hard-fought wins here and there. You know, last week beating the leaders Lancashire in a tense game. Tonight was one of the worst I've seen in a long time. Something really seriously needs to be done about their form in T20, the way they approach games, their game management, because that was a big beating this evening. I will be back on Sunday afternoon when they play Leicestershire here, and we'll see you on air for 2:15 for a 2:30 start with that one. It's a good job that Worcestershire have lost 8 out of 9 now, because they are the team who occupy the bottom spot, and I would imagine are probably likely to stay there, but there's not much in it really. Durham are now second bottom. They have 6 points from 9 games. Good night, everybody. My thanks to Jonathan Deutsch, who's driven hundreds of miles, by the way, to get here, and Paul Shaw as well.
Yeah, from Shawsey and myself, and just to remind you, tomorrow 2:30 at Queen's Park for Yorkshire. I'll be there with Fletch. We're doing a joint one.
Are you?
Fletch and
he said he wasn't doing joint this year. Why has he changed his mind?
Because it's Queen's Park and the facilities are limited.
Right.
So joint commentary with Dave Fletcher. So we'll be having a laugh tomorrow, and Jangir Ahmed's with us as well. And I think Fletcher's got a colleague as well. So it's cast of thousands tomorrow.
Wow.
A cast of thousands. See you tomorrow.